just to be very good. All right, let's get some water. Whew. All right. Well, let's go let's go back to that process of where to start. Let's share this here. So kind of starting back where we left off, in a way, we're connecting to our higher self and theirs. So we're checking our life force. And then, like Carrie mentioned, we wanted to go and look for attachments. We can check that chart, the entities list, and identify if there are anything on that chart that we need to clear, or that's blocking us, or that's attached to us. And then bringing that spirit back into the body, similar to what we just did right now. We can bring our spirit back in. A lot of times it doesn't want to live in there because there's other stuff in there, right? But we need to kick it out and embody our own bodies again. So then checking your chakras, your aura, right? So that's what we're doing, cleaning them up. But if you're checking that your chakra energy, is low, then that can give you clues as to where things are off in the body, right? So if you have that third chakra area, that solar plexus that's off, then you could be checking for things, the organs or, whatever's in that area of your body, and seeing, getting clues that way. So for example, if chakra 2 or that sacral area, you could check your kidneys and bladder, right? So whatever kind of lives in that area is what we're looking for to see. And then the kidneys and bladder then will give you clues as to what where your thoughts and your beliefs have been, right? So it could be that you've been stuck, you don't like change, those kind of things, or you're pissed off at somebody or something, right? So they can give you clues then as to what we need to look at and to work on. And then you just write down your findings. So going to that statement, you're going to write all the different things that could be blocking what it is that you want. So you could be saying here, I would like to, have optimally functioning kidneys and bladder. Okay, so well then what is it could possibly be blocking that? Well, that's where you go to the charts then and start documenting what you're finding, writing down the findings. And if you're working with a client, you can ask, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Anything you want to look at or work on? What's, issues that you're experiencing? If they say, hey, I wake up at 2 in the you can, well, to me, that gives an indication that maybe their adrenal glands are off, right? Low energy and so forth. So, because I know that's one of the things, but
I like, Marlene, I like where you put ask client there. I think that's helpful to even ask ourselves, like our higher self. So, sometimes I thought about it when I want to do a clearing for myself, and I'm thinking, well, I don't even know for sure, what exactly, where to start, whatever. But yeah, asking those questions of the higher self is kind of nice, just to get a starting point for ourselves even sometimes.
Yes, good. So it doesn't have to be the client exactly. Yeah, how am I doing? How am I feeling? What's going on with me? I didn't sleep well last night. What's that, right? Mm-hmm. Or for an example, you found those alien 7Ms. You found maybe 3 of them. So then you can clear those attachments for yourself or your client or whoever, right? So so that's where you're going to start first of all, is to looking at, is like what we were saying, the life force and then the attachments, right? And then if something is stopping you from getting a good reading, right? So if you're muscle testing that, it's a little off what's going on, you can check yourself for attachments. first, yeah, and do the grounding. So you could do like what we just did, that meditation. Then you can go to the amplification chart, which, or the that law of attraction chart. That's the realm of amplification, like that, actually. So you can go to that chart and find out if there's, are there curses? Is there something, is there somebody else's energy I'm dealing with here? Something like that. And indicate that and clear it. And then you can also ask your high self for accurate reading. Something similar to what we did this morning is we wanted to make sure that they had the information, because it felt like maybe they weren't all 100% clear with the charts and the information that we, been going over. So getting the download from wherever the higher information is stored and helping us that way. So then you present your clues. So you dovetail in between what they told you, what they've been speaking to you about, and then what you've been getting and your findings from the charts. So for example, you found maybe chakra 1 was low, the root, and then maybe you found that their solar plexus here had a lower reading. So that could mean that they're, and then you read their adrenals at 25%. So that would indicate, hey, that's probably what's an issue right now. We need to work on the adrenals or whatever it happens to be. But before you get to that physical thing, is like, okay, so then why did the adrenals get compromised? Was there something that, from this thoughts and beliefs in the root chakra that are, compromising it? Maybe. And are they even your own beliefs? Maybe not. Like you've got to work hard, you've got to do this or that, right? So we're always under stress, and you've got to go to medical school. You better buck the whatever, this family, you're gonna excel. Everybody does, right? So oh my gosh, the stress is on. So you can go deeper, right? So you don't just say, oh well, let's just fix the adrenals. Okay, great, but why? What was it? What was the thoughts? What were the beliefs down here? So you can get intuitive hits around that. Or if you're just starting, then you're just, not just, but that's when you're working in the chakra 1 and maybe chakra 3, because you just found the adrenals are low. Okay, so working in there. And then are there any emotions that came up off the chart? Working with those emotions, because around what the issue is, right? So are there any low vibrational emotions or negative emotions, whatever you want to call it, that are blocking this person from having optimal adrenals, right? So you'll probably find there's a lot of them on there. So you can just start clearing those as well. And then, so for example, if you want to do a vitality session, so you could, put together an offering for a client, for example, and you'll do a vitality session for them. So that's when you do steps 1 through 6 above. So this is, you connect to your high self and theirs, do the life, get your life force reading, check and clear for attachments, bring the spirit back into the body. You can check their aura and their chakra readings. And then off from that template that I've given you before, it lists the different chakras and what they mean, the different things that could go wrong, physically. So you can get information off from those charts that I provided for you for your readings as well. So then, then check their aura layers and so forth, and then just kind of get some information. So that's part of what this vitality session would be. So you can do that within like a 30-minute session for somebody and do those first 7 steps, right? And clear those things for them. If you're, new and you're not sure if you got everything done in that first 30 minutes, you could, after you disconnected from your session with them, just continue working, right? Just continue to work on where you left off, just to make sure that you got everything done, because you gave them a vitality session doesn't mean that it all has to be within 30 minutes. Whatever the vitality session takes for you is what it takes, right? So just you can price it accordingly if we're doing clients now. For a vitality session, these are the things that you're going to do. And if it takes more than 30 minutes when you're getting started, then it does. You're just going to have to do it after you disconnect off the Zoom or wherever, on the phone or whatever. I've done that a lot. Or you could do the pre-work before they get on the session with you. I've done that before too. So I will have already checked their life force and checked for attachments, and I've already started the clearings so that I can then get into just the information then and go talk with the client. Hey, what's going on? Asking them questions. How are you doing? So you've already started to find information about them so that when they start telling you things, you can say, oh, well, I see that, how that relates to this chakra being low. So you're putting things together. And it comes to you. So just don't feel like you have to be Sherlock and, whatever. It comes, right? The problem wants to be resolved. That's why it's coming up for you in the first place. It wants to, get completed and get out of this person's system. So it's funny that I always seem to get a good result, even if I had no clue where I was starting with this person. It just seems like, wow, that's so cool. It got worked out, even though I didn't really know where we were starting and how this was going to look. Okay, so just trust the process, and whatever happens, the body's giving you what it needs to work on right now. It does that. So as long as you're connecting with the higher self and the other person's higher self, you're going to get the information that's required, at least for that day, okay, for that session, right? So, and you can be asking, hey, give me the information I need to accurately help this person today, and you'll get it, right? So just trust, right? And don't be in that panicky state. Just be in that grounded area, and then just trust. So if you have to, it might be a good idea actually for you to start early before the person's session to get some of this information. So then when they start talking, you can just kind of just listen in and just get information, get clues, right? That's what I do. So listening is key, and hearing what they're saying between the words, right? And I will hear people maybe clearing their throat a lot, or they'll be doing things, that you can say, oh, okay, those are clues too, right? So whatever noises they're making, or, those are things for you to be aware of, and they can maybe somehow fit in. Now, of course, there may have several things that are issues with them right now, and you only have a short amount of time. So that's where I think working ahead is great, because then you can have your list of priorities maybe already identified. Like you could have said, hey, I've already read your kidneys and your bladder, and because your chakra 2 was off, and this is what I'm getting. It feels here that there's an issue in this area. So you could ask them, is there something that you're not comfortable with? Is there something changed happened in your life that you're just, or maybe these, have come from a long time ago. It doesn't have to be just yesterday, because by the time your kidneys and bladder are compromised, this has happened, for years, right? The emotional component of it has been continuing, or a traumatic thing has been continuing for a while. Now, if you're comfortable with doing intuition and getting information from a past life, you could do that. It could be information from that past life that is still affecting them today in their kidneys or bladder, right? So if you're comfortable with that in going there, great. It's on our level 2 training. If you want to, go into the next level, I teach you exactly what I do for, to get past life stuff. But if you can just get that information yourself, that's great. You can go there with them too. But then, so presenting your clues. Okay, so then you presented your clues, and then you've got the vitality. So you can do that offering as a package for somebody. And then so while you're clearing attachments, you can suggest that they do a package with you to include the issues that they told you about and your findings. So if you found that they had this, waking up problem with sleep, low energy. Okay, so yes, A, that could be their adrenals. B, it could be their pineal gland, because the pineal has that melatonin for sleep. So their sleep cycles could be off if their pineal gland is off. So there's clues around, if they're waking up too, right? So you put all the findings down into a chart, onto their chart, and then you can suggest what would be your recommendations at that point. And if you do have an hour instead of 30 minutes, you could do, low energy, anger, moods, not motivated. I'm not sure if that, leg, hip, knee, thyroid. Okay. Yeah. So, you can do whatever they're talking about, and then putting information together around that. But always starting here, right? Because when you start here, you're going to start getting clues. You just will, right? So if you don't know where to start, this is where you start, right? But then you ask the body where to start. I always start here because this is just basic information. All right, but from here, you can ask the body. All right, so now we did that. So you did number 1 through 6 above. So what do you, where do you want me to go from here? And the body will tell you, okay, should I start with energy? Yeah, and that's essentially what we just did, right? 1 through, this is all energy. So usually, yes, this is what you want to do first, right? Or, you could say, all right, so now I did that. So now what do I need to do? Do I need to work on energy some more? No. Do I need to work on mental some more or next? No. Do I need to work on emotional next? Yeah, you might get yes, right? So then you can go to the emotions charts. So you might have emotional brain programs, emotional thought forms, and then, negative emotions. You can list out all those different ones that come up for that person and what their issue is. So if they're saying that, their issue is they're angry a lot, so maybe we've got anger we need to put on the list, hatred and different things, around frustrations and whatever that's coming up for them. And then after we did all of that, the emotional part, then we come back and ask the body again. All right, so now where do I go? Do I go to the energy? No. I already did emotional. Do I need to do more emotional? No. Do I need to do a mental? Okay, yes, I'm getting a mental. So then you're going to go to that. Well, you could go to the perception chart too, but like I said, I have it all on that law of attraction chart. It says amplification here, but that's what that means. So you can go to that chart and then list out all the different things that you find are blocking you from sleep or whatever the issue was. And then after you've cleared everything off of that list, then come back here and ask the body again. All right, now what do I need? And you just keep peeling back the, the onion, right? They say you'll keep finding things, but you'll find them in the order that the body wants you to do them in. So this is exactly how you do the clearing, and it's going to be different for everybody. So it's not going to be the same procedure, right? The same order. It'll be the same procedure, but that's not going to be the same order for everybody, right? So, if they have something physically going on, they've got a pain. Okay, so that pain will probably come up. Okay, physical. Yeah, let's start there. We got to do something. That pain. Ouch. Yeah, right. So you've got. I would still do number 1 through 6 in the energy, because the pain could be caused by an entity. Could be demon, risen demon, things like that. So generally, when you clear the entities, you can get rid of a lot of that pain for them, if that was the only thing, right? But now if they're having pain, there's a good possibility that they have attachments that are also causing pain on top of whatever pain they have going on, right? Because they're opportunists, the dark things, right? They're opportunists, and they will jump in when they find there's an issue going on and exacerbate the problem, right? So at least you're going to get rid of those. to begin with. So now you're working on the person itself, right? Just the person. Now we've got all the other junk that's not them off. Now, how much pain are you in? Now, what would you say? Okay, oh, I went from a 8, now I'm down to a 3. Oh, great. Okay, so that's more manageable. Now, is there anything else in the dark energies that I'm missing to get them further from a 3 down to a 0? I would ask again, because some of the darker energies like demons and whatnot are, could give you an inaccurate response the first time. Maybe you only got that there was 2 there, but actually there was 10. So I would always kind of go back and like, okay, if something maybe, because that's what they do is cause pain. That's one of their, big things, right? So if we're looking at pain, and that's why it's good to have the information on the charts, just kind of going through those charts and just see what can these things cause. So you'll know, oh, pain is this one, you'll get it working with it over and over and over. But just having the information, more comfortable that you have it at hand. Okay. Oh, pain, demons. Okay. Or risen demons, heart, heart palpitations. They do, or migraines, whatever. So go through the columns and find out symptoms, because they're going to give you clues. DNA timelines, this is going to be in level 2. It's more advanced. But if you find, hey, it wants to work in DNA, well, you could just ask for right now, you could just say, is there a program in DNA that is blocking what we're looking for? If you're getting a yes, then you're just going to do a basic, well, I think this one is the shooting dice. Okay, so you can just do shooting dice until you find that cleared. Okay, you can do that for now. Without knowing anything more about it. Timelines, this is around, well, it's on that law of attraction chart. Timelines in emotions, timelines in your family timeline. There's mental timelines. There's energetic timelines, and then there's physical timelines. That's on the chart. So you can identify if you're getting timelines, yes, then which one, or ones. There could be more than one. So then you're just, as the chart shows you, whatever hand movement that is, you can do that until you clear 100%. If you are intuitive and you're getting some information about something that happened in a past life, on their timeline, great, document that, whatever's coming up. And maybe you just want to, if you're not certain, if you're not sure, you could just kind of throw it out there and see if it sticks, just to say, does anything about, having a fear of, like if they have, let's just say they have itchy, rashes or something that, and they don't really know the problem, what's behind it, but maybe they got stung by a bunch of bees or something in a past life. Okay, so you could just say, does being stung by bees resonate with you at all? Does that, they're like, no. You can say, well, I'm just kind of getting here that maybe something in a past life had something to do with getting stung by bees. And then you can just kind of leave it at that. If that doesn't resonate, whatever, but you can clear then. Because it's like, well, I did get that information, so I'm not going to throw it out. I think I could be onto something. You could just continue to clear that particular time in that person's life, whenever that happened to them with the bee stings, until you feel that trauma, that traumatic experience that they went through, until you feel like in your gut, like, okay, I feel that pass, feel that cleared, that energy around that cleared. And sometimes I will identify with that person, who they were. You can get into that a little bit deeper, but that's going to be a level 2, and I'll be able to give you more information about that. But for now, you just be able to do the hand movement, and if you're getting one of those off the chart, to clear it. So then clear what you charted. So, right, you can add physical clearings or blocks to optimal function, list these according to the charts and clear them. asking the body the direction of which part to work on first. And then regeneration. Regeneration is what we do in level 2. In the next class, that's going to be the physical rebuilding of the body parts, essentially glands, organs, tissues, going into the master cell of each of these areas and bringing them back up to perfection. So we do that with quantum work, where we can move the particles in those physical areas. And so that information I will be training you how to do in level 2, if you would like to go into that one. But these are things that, you know, would be, you can still ask the body whether you have the skills or information to do regeneration, yet you can still ask the body if there's, you know, blocks around certain, you know, body area, right? And then just do the clearings around that, like we would just did with, you know, up here with the adrenals, right? So you can still do the clearings around chakra 1, chakra 3, emotions that you got, all the stuff from the charts. You can do all that stuff. And that's the preliminaries that you would need to do anyway before you would be able to do the regeneration. So you can do all the preliminary steps right up to regeneration, right? So that's, and you can get a lot of things resolved without having to do regeneration. It's just better when you can you can get the actual gland or a body part regenerating to have new cells growing in perfection. Letting go of the old, you know, what's decaying or whatever in there. And then asking the body how much they can handle in one session. So this is, sometimes people can take a whole lot. I had a client once that she said, I want the whole endocrine system. I want, you know, and I said, okay, so, you know, there's a lot of glands here, you know, let's, you know, see if we should work on just, you know, a few at a time or a couple or whatever. And she's like, no, I have one session. I want to just get it all over with and do it right now. I'm like, okay. So we did all of the glands of the endocrine system. And she told me the next time we talked that right after our session that day was over, that she went outside, threw up, and she said, I've never felt better in my life after I threw up. So it's like, okay, so it's different for everybody. All right. And some people would not have been able to handle all that energy or whatever in one session. So you need to ask each person, you know, okay, so how much am I going to be able to, are they going to be able to, and asking the body. So this is just muscle testing again. So, you know, how are we going to ask it? Well, if we're going to have certain things on the chart that we came up with, these are the things that we want to work on. First of all, asking the body, what should we work on first out of this list, right? So it could be you're asking it emotional, energy, you know, mental, emotional, and whatnot. Yeah, you got to ask that too. But first I ask, okay, so I come up with their adrenals. I come up with they're having, you know, I've got a lot of mental stuff that we got to work on, you know, asking the body, all right, is the mental stuff more important than the adrenals? Yeah. Okay, then let's do that first, right? So, so how much can we handle? Okay, so can I do the mental stuff and the adrenals in the same session? Yeah, it's fine. Okay, or no, you can't. Okay, well, how much, right? So you're just muscle testing. So that they don't get sick or over detox. They may be really congested, backed up. Maybe their diet or lifestyle is really poor. So you just kind of got to like baby steps with some people. Maybe even just that vitality clearing is like just enough. Like that's it. And maybe they're going to go outside and get sick just from that, right? So, and I'm not saying everybody does that. That was just her. And I don't hear that all the time from people. But I do hear that people go to sleep after my clearings, regenerations and so forth. They will feel like really tired, and maybe even after the classes. I think maybe last week someone said that, but and then that can be. right? Because that's your body, wanting to regenerate or wanting to integrate those clearings, wanting that wholeness that, that we brought back to integrate into their cells, to be able to, utilize what we just did, right? So the body just can't just turn on a dime and go, okay, woo, we got it now. Sometimes it just needs to have time to put the clearing into perspective for itself and get things, optimized. And it does that while we sleep, because our mind could be saying, hey, I want to go and do this, I want to go do that, but your body's like, no, we need to integrate this stuff, go to sleep, right? So there could be that too. And then can do the readings and charting as much as you want. Yeah, you can read them, you can chart them all day long. It's not going to affect, they're wanting to sleep or, feeling anything, right? You can chart and read, but just doing the clearings, then that's what you got to ask. How much of the clearings can I do? So then clearing a large area can take a while, right? So, and then you're going to want to drink water and tell them to drink water mostly. I mean, you got to drink water too while you're doing the work, but they're going to want to drink more water than they usually do to be able to flush out the toxins that you just, swirled up. we want to get that out of their body. I think that was a case study I had on here, but we could use it, if you wanted to, I guess, for a case study. But this is the order that we came out with doing things for this person. So you can kind of use it, I guess, for a case study. But so that would be how I work things. So hopefully that is clear. Yeah, we're recording it. So you'll be able to get this information to come back to it anytime you want. So I will make sure that you get, and I'm going to put that process chart in for you again. If you didn't see it the last time, I think that would be good to have a refresher on that. So let's go ahead and take a break, and then I'm going to pull up, we've got a couple other charts. Do we need to go through all emotions and check? Well, that's a good question, Diane, because that's a long chart, right? So it just depends. If somebody only has a 30-minute session with you, there's no way you're going to be able to, probably do all the stuff that you come up with, right? And that's the thing. And there's always going to be things that you could work on with them after their session, or to do another session with them. Yeah, you can get as much as you can jam-packed into their 30 minutes or whatever it is that they're with you, but you may not be able to, regenerate their entire endocrine system. It's just not going to happen within a half an hour, right? You got to be realistic, and just depends on their own personal issues. Some people have a lot of things that, you got to work on, or a lot of attachments. Well, you can spend the whole 30 minutes just clearing those attachments, and really, they're the ones who got them. So they must, they have some work that they need to do, right? Whereas somebody who has no attachments, boom, you can just zip right into what you're doing. Their life force should be fairly high. You can just get going on whatever they want to talk about or work on today. So it's all individual right there, how much time it's going to take. So for the person with a lot of attachments, yeah, maybe, like I said, you get started on somebody prior to the session if you can that day, and chart out the things. At least you have, your running start on where you're going to just jump right in when you get the client on the call, and just say, look, I've already charted out what I've found here. We got a lot of things to clear. Let's go, let's get going on those right now. And while you're doing that, then you can be talking. So you're doing the, clearing. You can be talking to them, and they can be telling you, oh, wow, or maybe you don't even show them that huge list. Some people get kind of freaked out if, what's that, and some people don't want to know what that is, right? But you can put, and maybe this is more recommended, is that you put down, interference, spirit, energetic interference, you can just put down that you're finding 10 attachments to their physical, to their, energy body or whatever, energy field. And then if they ask you questions about it, you can just find out how open they are to knowing more about what those things are. Yeah, hand movements. Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll do that so that they're on the recording too. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to go back to, we'll just do a break right now and come back after, let's just say 10 minutes. Okay, let's do 10 minutes and we'll see you then. Make sure I'm recording. Okay. House and property clearing. So we've got the entity chart, right? And those are attachments and entities and things that can attach to humans. But these are things right here that you can find that can attach, or I don't know if they attach, but could be in a home or a space, right? So, or on your property. So when I'm doing this for somebody, I always ask them, is this a house? Is it on land? Or is this an apartment? Like how many units are here? Because one gal, she's, I don't remember if I didn't ask or whatever, but it turns out I'm clearing like the whole complex here, you know? And I'm like, wait, I can't clear the whole complex. The owner didn't ask me. They did not retain my services to clear all, units in their complex. That's not what I'm doing here today. I'm going to clear your unit. How about that? So yeah, just kind of be sure. And then another thing is to find out if they are, if they have people, a unit above them, a unit below them, or on the sides of them. It does come in handy to know when we start doing the clearing here for the energies. So, and then also if they live in a home that's on property, they have a, a lot or, land, then, what's the parameters of this land? Is it an acre? Is it 10 acres, 100 acres? What is it? And especially if you're getting paid to do this, if they want you to clear 100 acres, well, it might be a little more drawn out, than what you've got here. And then just, so that you can use your time accordingly. But really what you're looking for, let's just say you've got a room. Okay, so you're going to ground the four corners of the house that this room is in. Okay, so you've got the four corners of the house from the ceiling to the floor. You're going to ground it. Okay, and by the way that you do that is you take one large magnetic rose, red rose, and put it in each of the four corners of the space. So I'm going to start with the room. So I'm going to set 4 red roses, okay, one each in the four corners of that room. And then you put another one in the center of the room. And then you can just see the four corners, albeit attracted, magnetized into that one center rose in the center. Okay, so it's the center rose is magnetizing and attracting all of the energy from the four corners of that room, all the darkness, all the stuckness, whatever it is, into that one center rose. Okay, and then you can like imagine that rose has like a drain button. You push the button on it and just all that energy drains out of the room or the space, whatever you're working in, right? So just push the button, drain it, And now what you want to do if you have a apartment or unit below you, you can just kind of set a grounding or some kind of rod, to connect to the center of the earth. Maybe you're going to go out a window. Okay, so you've got this, line to the window and then out, right? So just kind of setting the space for this energy and then sending that down then into the center of the earth to be transformed and transmuted. And then you can set like a purple color around the walls, the doors, the windows, any other openings in that space. So you can set purple around, for protection. And just kind of just leave it there, right? So now this would be a room. Now, if it's the whole house, you're going to do the same thing. And you can go room to room and just do each room separately. As a matter of fact, you may have to if the people are saying that they actually have activity going on in the home. You could identify then, that's what I like to do then, is identify the number of actual spirits or ghosts in the home. If you're getting, let's just say you're getting, okay, 2. All right, so now is this a black energy? You can identify, is it black? Is it gray? Or is it, like pink or green or a regular color, right? So if you're getting, I got one, it's identifying as black, and then I got one that's identifying as pink. Well, the black one is going to be the, I guess the has a meaner quality to it. Okay. The pink one, it can just be a spirit of, potentially a young girl or something like that, right? That just got stuck somehow and can't find her way out, so you could assist that one a lot easier than say the black one, potentially, right? So not in all cases, but that's why I like to know who am I working with here? What's going on? So you've got, let's say that you got identified 2 ghosts. All right. So are they in, you could identify what rooms they would possibly be in. Are they in a bedroom? Whatever. And then go to that space and you can work in that space and clear them. Right. So you would just clear them with whatever hand movement was on that entities charts for ghosts. Right. So that's just the regular one. Or you can start really just checking off this list. So this is what I would probably do, is check this list for the percentage of dark energy. You could do it room by room, like you have more dark energy in one room than you have in another, then you need to spend more time working in that room than you do other rooms, right? Or if there's a basement, right? So you're going to find out if there's a basement level. Now you need to clear the basement, find out, okay, so most of the dark energy is from the basement. Okay, so then that's where you're going to spend the time making sure that you have the clearing complete in that area, right? So so checking their space, whatever space they have, making sure they tell you what it is you're working with, and then going into each of the spaces and just muscle testing to find out what's in them. And then so you can get a percentage of dark energy. All right, so this home in general, the whole home, let's just say it has 10% dark energy, right? And then you can get a read on the property. Okay, so the home is set on, a 1/4 acre lot. Okay, great. So how much dark energy is on this 1/4 acre lot? Okay, I'm getting maybe 4% there. All right, great. So only 4% is on the property. How come there's 10% in the house? Okay, so maybe somebody is playing that those really horrible, games, whatever, electronic games, or who knows what, it could be calling in some crap that, whatever. So that could be, and you might want to ask, does somebody play those, video games in the house or whatever? Not the bowling really per se or whatever those other, innocent kind of ones are, but they've got those really hardcore things that, ooh, that couldn't be good. So then still checking. Okay, so now you're going to also then check for any of these things. Okay, so curses. There could be satanic curses on the property, regular curses. There could be trauma. Is there trauma involved here? Put it down. Is there agreements? Maybe this person agreed to have a older person or maybe a relative or something to, oh, it's okay that Aunt Millie comes here all the time. Okay, well, we need to know this. And you want Aunt Millie to stay? Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I guess we're avoiding Aunt Millie and just clearing out the rest, okay? Or something like that. But if they've had agreements, then maybe they agreed to more than Aunt Millie than they know. Maybe they said, yeah, but maybe that yeah was the open invitation to other stuff that they don't even know about. So you want to clear agreements. They might not know what they've agreed to. And then the reptoids, type 5s, and the wormholes and their portals, and then the transmortals and their mechanisms, the synthetic type 8 and their seeds, the men in black type 7 and their implants, and their evil spirits and their portals, demons and their portals, risen demons and their mechanisms, ghosts and their portals, fallen angels and their mechanisms, and snakes and their mechanisms. So that's the ones we're checking for. You can chart it all out. And then just whatever the hand movements are that are according to each of those on the chart, that's what you would do. And then clear to 100%. So then you're going to check again if the dark energy now is cleared down to 0. So doing the process that you see here. So then the magnetic roses in each of the 4 corners of the room or the space. So the space may be, the property. So now we've got 1 magnetic rose in each 4 corners of the land, the corners of their property. And then 1 in the center that's going to attract, and I don't really put the one in the center in the middle of their house. I put that one outside in the property too, so I don't know if it's skewed a little bit so it's not off center a little bit because the house is directly in the center. Well, I would still like to put that in the property itself, that one in the middle, so all the land energy can go into that one in the center, but that center one is still outside on the property itself. And then all that energy then can go down that grounding rod once you press the little drain button and then drain it out. So you can visually see that just, and then just, you can kind of see it as it goes down, as it, drains out. Okay, is it drained to 100%? Yeah. And then setting the purple around the space. That could be the whole property. You could set this purple around the whole property so that their property in the neighborhood has the purple protection around it.
Do you leave the 4 roses in the corners?
You can.
Okay.
You can. And then these can be protection roses, so that at any time, if you want to, you can just press that button again and just, okay, let's just drain that area now. Let's get all the dark stuff out of there. Maybe you have that child that has that game going on in the other room. Well, you can put that in his room or her room, whatever it is, and put the 4 magnets in there, magnetic roses, and then just, every day drain the button. Okay, let's clear that room. Got some stuff there. We want to drain that. Yeah, morning and night you might need to, I don't know, but it just depends. If you're getting a reading, it might be something to check for. Do a little experiment, like one day, find out what the reading is, and then after they play the games again, check again the next day, is their stuff back again, right? Now, I remember one time I had a client that I was clearing their house, and I said, we're going to check on this for you. I'm going to, call me back tomorrow or whatever the arrangement was. And we'll see where we're at. And so I checked back in, and he said, well, for the most part, everything's fine. I still find, however, that there's this one, like the door flap, the doggy door flap or something. He's heard the doggy door flap again. And but they don't have a dog, you know, so, and there was nothing in the house. So what I found though, that there was a dog that had been buried in the backyard from a previous owner, and you know, from whose ever dog it was that had died, right? And they buried him in the backyard. So that was that dog, thinking he still lived there, I guess. So he was coming in the doggy door. So I found that, but I didn't know until he told me these things, right? And then it's not like I checked, but you could, I guess you could check, is there, you know, spirits from past lives buried in this property or something? You could check that, and then just, you know, sending the dog on. So what I do then is just like on that entities chart, where if you find a ghost or whatever, you can do that, you know, sending it off to Jesus or to, you know, whatever ascended being that you have assisting you, to allow that spirit to be able to leave this realm and go on to the next. So yeah, make sure that you have that person. And I call on Jesus, but it's up to you if that doesn't work for you, to call on the highest being that you possibly do, you know, of the light, of course, that knows where is the best, highest and best place for these beings to go, right? I don't want to send them anywhere. I don't want to say, I'm going to now send you to the light, because what if that light is that matrix duality reincarnation loop? It's not up to me to put them back into the recycle bin. I'm not doing that. So that's why I have this this guidance and this help that will get them to the right and proper place, the highest and best for their soul, for their spirit, you know, for their advancement and so forth. So that is that. Any questions around house and property clearing? You can unmute if you'd like. Jesus always, but do we use Jesus for aliens? Oh, sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They know what's going on, or he knows, or whoever knows what's going on. And so where do aliens go? I'm not even sure. Do they go back to there or do they need to go into some kind of rehabilitation program or something like that? That's not up to me, but it's possible. Yeah. So, all right, I will make sure I send you the, well, I did. I think I already did send you the PDF for this yesterday. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to work now on abundance and prosperity. All righty. Okay, so here's the chart that we're going to look at next. And this is going to be around clearing blocks to abundance, clearing blocks to money, and things that you can do yourself to allow and receive financial assistance, financial, you know, prosperity, wealth, and so attracting it, and then also being able to hold it and accumulate it, you know. So that's what we're looking for here. So the first one is clearing the number one blocks to wealth and abundance, which are shame and guilt. So shame will block us from our receiving, and so will guilt, right? Like, oh, I don't deserve that, you know, right? So these things are blocking so many people, shame and guilt. Now we want to clear these to 100%. And they could take a while. It just depends. I mean, you know, if there's a lot there that you need to clear, and we could be clearing maybe guilt from maybe even potentially a past life. It's possible, right? So it could be a big clearing or not. So just depends, but we want to clear it to 100%. And then you're going to look at DNA. So what are the number of faulty DNA programs around shame Do I have any? Yes. How many? 1, 2, whatever it is, put it down, and then just do the hand movement for this one would be for shooting dice.
So could we have all the ladies check for themselves right now? Like what would be their number of faulty programs in their DNA?
Well,
Would that work?
sure. Yeah, let's do that. So first of all, let's just see, is there shame? Yes or no? So you're going to check yourself. Yes or no. And then if you're getting a yes, then there may be DNA programs around that. And if you get yes to that, then how many? So then put down the word shame and then put DNA -2 or whatever, number of programs you're getting. And then you just do this for the DNA. Shame, yeah, I mean, you could, intend that you're also clearing shame at the same time, along with the programs. Although that would just be a regular, basic hand movement for shame. But you could do the same as you do for DNA. Okay, so then you want to clear shame all the way to 100%. And then the faulty programs, you want to clear them down to 0. Same with guilt, same thing. So check yourself. Do you have guilt? Yes or no? If so, put it down on your chart. And then DNA, number of programs around guilt. Do you have some? Yes. How many? Put that down. And then just start doing this hand movement. So then we're going to start clearing shame and guilt. Get that started right now. And then so moving forward, what have you come here to do and who are you to help?
Marlene, can I ask a question real quick? What if this is like taking a really long time? I kept doing this and I'm like, am I done? And I just keep getting no. And then, so how long do we keep doing this? Like, is it so embedded that it just keeps doing that?
It really could be. These are huge. That's why they're the #1 blocks. I mean, I guess if it was easy to clear, then nobody would have an issue with money, right? So it could be big, yeah. And it could be related to family things. So it could be in the bloodline too. I mean, there could be some areas here. And that's why when we get into these next clearing statements, you're going to find out by going through the charts. Yeah, there is stuff in bloodline. My mother's family, areas like that. So yeah, they could be big. And if you're still getting a yeah, that there's still something there, then you just have to continue until you get a no.
Okay.
Is it cleared now? Yes, cleared now. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So we just have to continue working on it. And I mean, what's the payoff? Yeah, we got to do an hour or whatever of this, but hey, I cleared shame and now I can be an open vessel to receiving money. So, I mean, that's the payoff, right? So we just, it's worth it in the end.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And so, okay, so then #2, moving forward. So what have you come here to do? Who are you to help? You could write a statement around that. So you could do the permission and ability to intention, your intention statement here. And then, so what is blocking that? And then you chart it out. And then just do the clearing around that. So you could do, that you are a quantum healer, that, I am here to assist. Maybe you're working with people who need their house cleared. Okay, so I'm an expert quantum transformationist or whatever it is that clears the homes of residents to enjoy 100% peaceful surroundings, however you want to put it, without the interference of any outside interference, right? Or however you want to put it. So what could be possibly blocking me from being that, right? That's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. That's who I want to help. So what could possibly, make it more detailed than that? So you can actually put in there what you actually see, and you could put it in the now, the present. So, the right permission and ability to be enjoying my, my full experience of, so it's more in the present, so that you're actually doing it right now. Right. And I've let go of domination, suppression, control. So what is it then? Chart out what could be blocking that, and then clear it. And that you're going to find that things will be a little different. You will find different, especially if you go through this whole thing, you're going to find a big change. Yeah. Hand gesture for shame and guilt. That's just the basic, the basic hand movement, shame and guilt. That's for all clearings, really. It is for just normal things, unless it's on the chart that shows you chopping or a right twist, then that's what we do instead. But otherwise, it's just the basic. Now, for this to be on your purpose, right? So you could be saying to right permission and ability to be on purpose, or in my full purpose, or however you want to state that. You can do a clearing around that. And like the people you want to work with and who that would be. And you can get real specific if you'd like. Okay, so then spirit to body connection. This is to be in your body at all times, 100% spirit in, removing any influences, right? So what we just did, the grounding meditation this morning. So many people are only about 60% embodied at best. To restore embodiment by clearing the right to be 100% embodied. So this is a statement that you could say.
Ability to live 100% of spirit.
And ability
During the freedom set of lesson.
Just gotta think you're reading out loud.
Sorry, I am reading out loud.
It's cute. Clearing the right to be 100% embodied, or clearing the ability to live 100% spirit in body, or clearing pre-birth setting for anything less than 100% spirit to body relationship, and the DNA clearing to fully restore spirit to body, and then timeline issues regarding staying fully in body. So your statement, your intention statement could be including all of that stuff, right? So you could have the right permission and ability to, to be 100% embodied, to live 100% spirit, to, all of these things. You can put that into that statement. And then what is it that would be blocking that? So now here's another one you could do: the ability to sustain and hold on to wealth, to have $1 million+ or more liquid, to bring in, fill in the blanks, 10,000 plus a month in a business I love instead of you, because you're talking about yourself, letting go of domination, suppression, control. So what could possibly be blocking that? That's what you would chart out for yourself and clear. Now, some things that you can do, inner actions would be a gratitude list. So every morning you can state your 10 things that you're grateful for. So you can just make up a general list that has the 10 grateful things that, you're a gratitude or you're grateful for. And you can change them. You can change them as you want. Maybe the next day you thought of something different, you want to replace it. And it don't have to be exactly 10. You can have more. Add to it as you go if you want to, but you can read these every morning and they can set your day. So the great things that you're grateful for will go out there and become, oh, she's grateful for that. Oh, well, we'll just go out there and get her more. Yeah, there it is. She wants it. There, she said it. Here it is, right? And it does happen this way. It really does. Okay. So whatever you're intending to put on that list is what you're grateful for. More can come to you. And, I get like a real heartfelt feeling around it too. And if you want to put yourself in that feeling for like 17 seconds or more, that will definitely boost the energy around it. Okay, and then setting intentions. So you can see a balloon, right? So you've got this big balloon and you're filling it with your intentions. So you can say that, for example, this statement above it, I have $1 million liquid, money in the bank. I bring in a $10,000 or more monthly in a business that I love, blah, blah, whatever it is. You're putting all that statement as if it's already true. So you're putting that in there, that I have this business, I have this money in the bank, whatever it is, you're putting all of that as if it's true already in this balloon. And then as soon as it's all in there, you can bless the balloon, whatever you want to do with it. And then you can let it go to source and see it being fulfilled. All of your desires, everything that you just spoke into the multiverse is going to be fulfilled for you, right? So, maybe does it take a couple of, processes and transactions to get to that $1 million? It might, right? I mean, whatever it's going to take for you to get there, but things can speed up like, whew, like, wow, that bill is paid for. It's crazy because I had something that I believe I still owed it. And I got a letter saying that I don't owe it. And wow, this is paid off. Incredible, right? So I don't know where that came from or whatever, but it was paid off. Or not being seen by the bank as being owed anymore for some reason. So, whoa. So there's a few thousand there, right? So however it comes to you, just enjoy it. It's whatever way it wants to come. It can show itself in many different possibilities and just come to you from many different sources. Okay, so the outer actions that you can do then is you can take a daily action. You can identify areas where money can come from, for example. And so I've got an exercise here. I believe it's down further on the next page. 100 things where wealth comes to you. Now, this man, John DeMartini, brilliant, absolutely brilliant mind. And you can look him up online. He's got some books and different things. I met him in person, and he was giving a talk at this place I was at, and I took notes. And these are from the notes that I took from his talk. Okay, so I'm sure they're probably in a book or something, but these are from my notes. So I believe it's number 9 here. That I'll get to this in a minute. But yeah, so daily actions, and that could be that you talk to people, right? So you could do talk to people, about let's just say their vitality, for example. Okay, and that if you're aware of anyone that is low on energy, doesn't feel as vital as they used to, that's what I do. You can let them know that I do vitality sessions or whatever it is that you want to state out there, right? So putting your thing out there, and that's what we're going to work on here after this. We're going to talk about business. So we'll get to number 5 there. So number 6, clear your wealth set points. Now this is something that we can do right now. So let's go ahead and if you can muscle test this, see what your set point is for your monthly income. So this will be what your body or your perception feels that you can, that's your high point, right? Like maybe you come up with $5,000. Okay, so monthly income, that's all that the level that your perception can get to, right? That's the highest it feels. Now, maybe you've made more than that in the past, or maybe you've never made that. Whatever it is, that's what your body is saying that your cap, your limit is. That's where it's capping you off, right? So, so put down what you're getting for a monthly, and then put down what you're getting for a yearly income. And they don't have to match. Like if you have 5,000 on the monthly here, the yearly one doesn't have to be 60,000. No, and generally they don't match up for some reason, maybe your mind thinks, oh, well, over the course of a year, I could do 100,000, but your monthly is only at 5. So, it thinks, well, I can probably, find things to do in the last 6 months that I don't know about right now. So maybe I can do 100, maybe that's what your head's going for, giving it some logical reasons and going off of past information, right? It's coming up with that set point, but it's capping you. That's it, right? Kind of thing. And then what is the set point for your net worth? So there it could be in the millions. Okay. Oh, I'm coming up. My muscle testing shows that I could have $1 million net worth. Okay, well, that's great. So I don't know if the 100,000 a year, then you would need to have 10 years worth of all of your money stored away to get that. That's the logical part of it. We're not even looking at logic here, but maybe your mind is, who knows, but whatever it comes up with, just put that dollar amount on the list. And from here, we're going to intend, and now you can put this information into your bubble, right? So that you're clearing, instead of 5,000 a month, you put in there in your clearing bubble, place in your clearing bubble, instead of 5,000, maybe you want to say whatever the new amount would be. So if it's instead of 5,000 for the monthly, maybe you want to just put in 100,000, just whatever, 10 times it or something, right? So you can put in a new amount into your intention bubble and set that off. I am now making 100,000 a month, and my yearly income is it's over $1.5 million or whatever. My net worth is $10 million liquid in the bank, whatever it is, right? You're putting that into your intention bubble and setting that off, right, with the new amount.
Well, Marlene, do you find that most people are operating at their, say, monthly set point, or do you find that the reality in their life is still often very different? What do you find?
Yeah, I think the set points. Well, maybe let's get some feedback from you guys. What numbers are you? You don't have to tell me the number. I don't care.
I don't mind numbers. It means nothing anyway. Who cares? I don't care.
So
I find that my numbers. So I think too, I get a little bit, maybe all of us, we get a little bit of our own mind that starts when it comes to something that's high tension for you. So then it kind of wants to infiltrate maybe your accurate readings. But for myself, and I looked at myself separate from like my husband, just like what could I personally do? I got, maybe 2,500 for a month. But
Okay.
that's not what my accurate income is. So I was curious, okay, so does that mean, do you generally find that it should be pretty accurate, or do you find that it's, what do you find with people?
I don't find that it's exactly accurate. However, it can be close, right? So if they're really making, let's just say they're really making 3,000 a month
or something, yeah.
Yeah, they may be within range, like maybe double that, 6,000 or whatever, but you don't really see, oh, my set point's at 100,000, but they're only making 2. It doesn't really seem to reach that far out. That's a big stretch, right? It's generally similar, not a whole big range, but you might have a different experience for what your answers are.
Yeah. And would you be willing to go through these for some of us, or is that not something that you feel like you should do? Like right here,
Sure.
Right now, like to check my set points for my month, year, and net worth, so I can compare it to what I have written down, or is that?
Yeah, set points for monthly. Okay, so I get maybe about 4,700. And then for yearly, I'm getting $170,000 net worth. Maybe 1.2 million.
So for me, if that's me and my own personal income versus like family income, that's not really very close at all.
Okay.
That's like totally way off. So what does that tell you then? Like now that the reality is way different, what is that meaning for you? Like, how do you interpret that?
Well, it's your perception. So this is going to be different for everybody, right? It could be way more than what they are like, oh God, I can't even think about that. But it's coming up that's okay. So it's skewed. It's totally skewed. And it's really kind of surprising what that would be. And I'm gonna do it for myself real quick just to kind of see with what I'm coming up with. I'm coming up with way more than I make.
Okay. Okay.
That's probably my optimism, right? I'm not sure what it is, but but see, I guess to me, it's like, I know I can, it's there, right? So, if I'm logically looking at things, it's like, well, I took a month off over Christmas and whatever. I could have, if I wanted to kind of look at, I could have been doing more, I just chose not to or whatever, right? But this is not really a logical thing really though. This is just wherever your perception is currently set. Yeah. And
so then how would this help us then in that way? Like,
because you're going to raise it.
So if I'm currently way off from that and I raise it, well, I'm trying to like figure this out. Now, how does that help me if I'm raising it, but I'm not anywhere near what it says I am already? So is it kind of like, well, maybe it'll sort of go up since I raise the possibility?
Yes, because your perception now, it can be out of the way, right? Because we are clearing things. We're clearing things up here around wealth already. Yeah. So the things that are already in your intention statements around this are going to start working. So the clearing out the blocks that you've had in your perception of where you can be, right? So this is just kind of maybe just a little eye opener to see, what does my thoughts or perception think that this is, where am I limiting myself to, that there's no limits. We have no limits. There's money galore out there, right? There's nothing that can limit us but ourselves. Yeah. So it's just kind of giving us a little insight of where we think we are and how do we clear them. Just basically doing the hand thing. Okay. And that's how you clear it. So if you say, okay, well, 5,000, I want to make that, I want to make that 50,000. All right. Well, we're intending, and we've got the, whatever it is, like for the statement up here, that's where you say, the right, permission, and ability to I have that $1 million in the bank. I have, whatever, 10,000 a month, whatever that number is, and putting it in that bubble and letting it go. Right. And then by intent and by doing the clearing, I'm increasing my monthly income set point. I'm increasing my yearly income set point to whatever it is, my net worth. I'm increasing that set point to and above, right? So, you can say $1 million plus or $10,000 plus, whatever. We don't want to set a like hardened stone, number. You want to put a plus or something behind it. So that's kind of just an eye opener where you're actually perceiving yourself. Now,
so Marlene, but when we do that, are we clearing just like the field? Like what if we have like something in our beliefs, like in our mind? Does it clear those negative patterns in our mind? Or are we just clearing that field? And so it's gonna to come in there. So like, what if your mind just subconsciously just keeps saying that? Like, do we have to like observe those thoughts and like clear those thoughts, or is the field just doing all this work for us?
Yeah. So that's a good point. So it will be your mind, because when you do this statement here, you're going to, so what's blocking this? And you're going to find that there's a lot of perception things in your mind, right? So thoughts and limitations, stuff from that first chakra, right? So like, oh, I come from a family of blue collar workers and we work hard and we, you know, for every dollar we ever made, that kind of thing. So if that's still in your mind, or if that's still in, you know, blocking you, or if that's still, let's just say that's the clan energy. Okay, so you could have clan energy of the family, to belong in this family. We're hardworking, you know, work on the, you know, in the steel mills, whatever it is. We, you know, we're tough, and we, you know, we honest days work for honest days pay, or whatever it is. That could still be in your perception, because that you saw your father do that or whatever.
Right.
Right. So those things are what we're finding for ourselves. So once we chart out all the things that are blocking you and go through and do those clearings, then you may find, and it's a good experiment to come back and see, has this raised what I feel, you know, my set point is now, you know, is this different because I did all those clearings. But going through all of these actions, I would do all the actions first and then come back and check again and see how things are working for you.
Okay.
What you're going to be doing, yeah, you're going to be finding a lot of different things, and it's going to be a little bit you know, eye-opening to see, oh wow, I've been blocking myself, I didn't know this stuff was there. Or, you know, and it could be your bloodline, it could be parents, you know, a lot of it is parents, right? And how we were raised and what we saw them do, you know, and what did they do for a living, and you know, did they just manifest their millions, or did they work, you know, regular 9 to 5, you know, or whatever. So it's, yeah, it's
Okay.
to look at, yeah, and just kind of put some clues together for yourself and just see where you limited yourself. But it's,
Do you find there's big areas where a lot of people kind of have a same stuckness, or was there a specific area for you that you felt was a kind of a big, you know, release once you release a certain area, and then it's like, wow, then things kind of really started shifting?
yeah, family stuff. So clan, bloodline, DNA programs, and DNA for poverty. And that's another thing too, vows of poverty. Did you take a vow of poverty? I should probably put that in here. Yeah.
But at any time, we could just say that I let this go. Let's just say that I took this vow never to do it, like for some reason, like a vow of poverty or a vow of like this mindset. I do have the power to, like, at any point to just say, okay, I let this go, right? And now it no longer serves me, and then I give it back, right?
Yeah, good. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Poverty. And then I'm going to say hospitality, you know, and you could actually put a lot of these in here, suffering, whatever it happens to be, right? There's different vows that we may have taken at some time or other, and we're still honoring those things, right? So the hospitality means that you're putting others first. You're welcoming others, receiving with, you know, the other person, helping that other person, being hospitable to that other person, welcoming, and therefore you're not spending time on you, you know, or whatever. So, or the family. A lot of times the mother, you know, if there's a family, the mother is always doting over the husband and the children, but never, you know, gets around to her stuff.
Okay.
That could be hospitality. But yeah,
Okay.
so that's a good one to add in there. So yeah, and then the gratitude thing, right? So when we're in gratitude, you focus on what's working in your life, and that expands. And so making that 10 things list, and you can say it every day. And then that's just your intention balloon that we just already talked about. Be clear and believable in the present moment as if it already exists. And that's what you're putting out in that balloon we talked about. Now here's from John DeMartini, the one I was talking about, shame and guilt, that he's says the number one blocks to money. When we minimize, we feel we want to give back. So give and receive equally. Non-equal exchange creates brain noise. So you get this feedback to be sure there's a reciprocal. So meaning that if you receive a lot, you start feeling guilty about it. Like, oh shoot, that's not equal. I haven't given them a thing, right? So now it's like, you just like throw everything at it. Like, oh my God, so now you're giving, right? Because you got to get that equal balance back again, right? So, but what does that do? You maybe overgave now and you're in a deficit again, So, so just being aware that that happens. So when we live by a set of priorities, so there's a hierarchy of values, and that dictates your financial destiny. So most people live in a fantasy and delusions, things higher in value, you will find the money for. It's how you manage what you make. So what do you value? Where are your values? If your values are around family, if that's your number one value and it's not making any, money doesn't even come on that list, then you may not have money, right? So it just depends on how you put things in position and what's important for you. So, so he'll mention here about saving and investing must be in your top 3 or your top 5, or you go broke, right? So if you have that hierarchy of values and saving money or investing money, wealth creation or accumulation, if that's not in your top 3 or 5, you would go broke. So money circulates from people who value it the least to those that value it the most. So this is why it's so important to do those initial clearings and finding out what's in your bloodline, what's in your DNA for your family, all the different things that we have, like, oh, we're just blue collar workers here. We don't go into the investing. We don't, want to, buy a real estate property and rent it out or something. So we have, we have a, something that will be worth something, over time. No, we just, whatever is blocking us, right? So, and then money's okay. So since it circulates to those who value it the most, money will work for you if you value it. Those that condemn it become slaves to it. So you might hear people saying, well, money doesn't buy happiness. Well, I'm here to tell you it does. Okay, it does buy happiness. And whoever told you that has no money. They're making excuses for why they don't have money. Now, can you be happy without spending money? Absolutely. I've been there too, okay? I can be happy with money or without money, but I would prefer to have money because, yes, then it can buy happiness. If I want to, I really always wanted to, go a certain place, right? But I got no money. But I always wanted to go there. It would just be so much to me if I could just go there and see that place. Well, that's my hopes and desires and dreams, and I can't have it because I have no money, so, but that's okay. Life is fine here. I've got a nice little family. Everything's fine. I don't need money to be happy. Well, just look at the person who's saying that and find out, is that person have money or do they not? Generally, 9 times out of 10 or more, you're going to find that person is making an excuse for why they don't have, right? And it's a big one. That's what you hear. And what, are you going to argue with somebody who's standing there telling you that? It's probably not going to help you to argue with them. They're going to be set in their, in their ways because they feel that they've been dealt a bad breaks in life, and from where their environment, and their families or their lot in life, maybe, oh, Italian, like when they immigrated here into New York, the Italians were, poor, hard worker, whatever, but they didn't have money, right? Well, they assimilated and now they're, they make money, right? But to them, that could have been in their minds that, oh, well, it doesn't buy happiness. We're one big happy family and this and that. But, they've come around and started making money now. So, but anytime you expect the world owes you something, you get anger, betrayal, despair, and depression. So it's not in life with your highest values equals the dollar equals an exchange mechanism. Okay, so you can't manage money if you have emotions about it. There's a science to it. You follow it and you end up wealthy. So if you're having these emotions around, yeah, well, if I started making more money, then my family will disown me, because that's, I'm not showing that I'm working as hard as they are. And if I don't work as hard as they are, I'm not as good as them, they're going to get mad, right? So you can't manage your dollars with emotions. It's not gonna work for you. So the number one blocks to wealth, we already said, were shame and guilt. Up here we said that, but the reasoning behind it is the self-deprecation. So you do something you think is a mistake, like you inject values of other people in your life and you compare them to your own. You put them on a pedestal, it makes you feel unworthy. Yep, so you're self-deprecating yourself, right? So you're putting their values onto you, makes you feel unworthy. So you feel unworthy to receive. And that's altruism. It compensates for shame, guilt, and forces you back to center. That altruism. So the world on the outside projects the world on your inside. You have to have value on yourself. People give away things because they feel bad to compensate for it. So you can be giving away your money. You could be giving away your time. I overgave. I remember, to clients, I overgave. And I'm like, all this time and effort put into things that no monetary value was provided, as a fair exchange, right? Only got what I charged them for it. I don't know why I was overdoing it. A little bit is fine, right? But way overdoing it there's something with me, right? So that was the world on my inside. I had to get myself back to center. So the altruism, the overgiving, right? So I felt unworthy to receive, right? So that compensated for it. So here's the exercises then, and these may sound a lot, like 200 benefits. Yeah. And the reason is because once you start, you may think, oh boy, I got 5 things. I got 5 things on the list. That's all I can come up with. Well, then, okay, you can stretch yourself and maybe get to 10 things, right? And then once you get to the 10 things, a couple more things might pop in your head. Maybe you'll read a book or something and another few things will pop out. But then as you're writing, you can use that automatic writing where you ask your high self to get involved here. And when your high self gets involved, they can get some answers that you have no clue where this information comes from. You've never heard of it before, but now you're writing it, it's on your list, and your list just starts growing. Things just come out of the blue. And once you've already stated up here what, that I have this whatever $1 million business or whatever it is, I'm making so much money a month, and I'm my business serving people that, you could say, with my purpose, my expertise or whatever you want to put in there, how that is. But once you do that, now you've got, benefits of, wait a second. Yeah. Benefits to 200, the list of 200 starts growing. So refining, polishing, managing your business, the 200 benefits around that, and where it's more effective, efficient, and maximizing profits. So you go through every step and you can prioritize things then that come up out of this. That's a good thing. You can set things that come up into priorities and label them. Hey, these are 1s. These are top priorities. These are 3s, right? So you can have 1s, 2s, and 3s. And then you can be rewarded for being an entrepreneur who serves people, block themselves by thinking of self. Okay, so rewarded benefits of, hang on a second. Not sure exactly what I meant by that. I might get that in a minute. But so the idea here is research, do a search online. What are people looking for? Find that, those with the biggest spreads, right? So you could broker a deal. So you may not have any skills whatsoever. You can't do this. You don't have any abilities around this, but you can find out who needs something. This person needs this, and how can they get it? I happen to know a guy over here who provides that kind of stuff. So you could be the guy in the middle, like getting that guy what he wants from the guy over here that has it. And by being in the middle, you can get that, deliver it and get that affiliate commission from it. You have not done anything. You don't have to have any special knowledge to do this. You just put yourself in the middle and help someone out, help 2 people out, maybe a lot more, right? So that's just, you know, just something that can come up out of nowhere just because you're asking. I need this list. Give me some information. I need this benefits here. So you feel bad about being poor. That's a signal to get you to care enough to serve. Once you start feeling bad about being, you know, inadequate, you know, I don't have much money, you know, if I, yeah, this is, you know, this really sucks or whatever. That's a signal that your body, your high self, whoever is giving to you saying, you got to get out there and serve more people. That's all it is. More people you serve, the more money you make. Period. It's true. So writing 200 benefits then of building a business that serves ever greater numbers of people. So what would be the benefits of that? And just keep writing until you start getting some real, you know, wild things that you never thought were in your head. And you'll get them. They'll come to you. And then writing 200 more benefits of saving. So saving in ever increasing portions of profits. So you're going to start, you know, maybe a savings plan or some kind of like, okay, I'm going to put so much % of my income into having a vacation fund or an investment fund or whatever that is. But just getting your mind around that topic. And once you start writing, and maybe you don't get to 200 benefits, you know, in the first sit down, but let's just say you got 50. That's 50 more than you ever had before you started this, you know, things that you never would have thought of, like number 30 through 50 could just been off the wall, wild things that you never in your wildest dreams thought about. But now they're sitting there in real terms for you as a possibility. Like, whoa, this could be possible. And then 200 more benefits of investing in ever greater leverage yields and rewards. So whatever that happens to be. So unfulfilled highest values. So you have high values, like in the hierarchy of your values, and it's really important to you, but it's not fulfilled. That will equal an addictive behavior. So that can attract us to get rich schemes, you know, sharks, you know, dopamine fix. Tell somebody what they want to hear. So what is their highest value? They have, yes, I do value that. That's right. Yes, I agree with that, right? So people will get attracted to things that they think they will be able to provide those higher value things for them, whether they can do them or not, you know, is to be seen. But people like to hear that because that's what they want. That's their highest value. But when they're not fulfilled, then that's where we go into the addictions and the behaviors to try to appease that feeling in us that we've got these values, but we're not fulfilling them. So those things can come up. So then writing 200 benefits of amassing a vast fortune, and you have to have the desire to build it. If you don't want it, you're not going to get it. And it's not wrong to want it because, like, just for my example, for giving this, you know, as an example of the number of people that you help. Okay, so amassing a vast fortune, I want to help. My desire is to be able to help more people exponentially so that they can help more people, just like you, right? So that's why I have a group of 10 here. So now I'm 10 timesing me, the possibilities of what I can do as one person. Now I'm 10 timesing that, and then you can go out and 10 times it. So then exponentially this can grow, right? And, you know, yes, it can absolutely, the money follows the value, you know, the value of the service that you're providing. So you provide more value by providing more services to more people, right? So 10x it. And then, so the desire to build it. My desire is to be able to have more people conscious, to be able to help themselves and not be victims, right? So I want that in my neighborhood, you know, I want that in my country. I want that around the world for other people to be able to be in that same state. And so to be able to do that, if I do that, if I provide what that's going to take for people, then yes, there's value in it. So they're going to pay in some, you know, so the money's going to come, right? But you got to have that ability to a desire to have that desire to do it. So the ability to find out what you love and have the ability to, what's the deal here? Okay, ability to find out what you love and have the ability to not have to do it, but because you're inspired to do it. Oh, okay. You got the ability to not have to do it if you don't want to, but you were inspired to do it. Okay, so that makes sense, I guess. So benefits around that. And then benefits around creating a financial cause that can leave a legacy. So after you're gone, what was it that you did that you provided so much value that now you left this legacy, not only for your family, but for other people's families, a lot of other people's families, right? So it could be a foundation or something that that goes on after you. So what would be the benefits of that, and what could that mean? So invest in growing consciousness or inspiration, like me. So that's what, you know, growing consciousness, right? So investing with accountability, bring millions of solutions. So a mission for doing it that brings tears to your eyes. So what's the benefits around that, of creating that? And then you focus on service. When you do, debt disappears. So when you're serving other people, it's like yesterday, I had a full day of sessions with clients. I didn't have time to think about my problems or whatever, you know, anything else. I didn't have a single minute to spend on looking at issues or problems and myself, right? And servicing other people like that. I don't know what that money, I'm not sure on a day-to-day. I don't have time to sit and go over, okay, now that costs, I mean, I'm making that much for this, whatever. I don't itemize things out like that. And I focused on service, right? So when I did, yeah, apparently they all paid for a session. So, you know, the debt would disappear, right? But I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on my service to these clients. And I got a lot of breakthrough stuff that happened. And that is fulfilling to me and what we're doing. And so by doing that, it's just going to automatically make, you know, value, and, you know, the money will come in and your debt can disappear. So when you focus on debts, however, then service goes away, right? So it's the opposite. So you don't resent your debts, you thank your investors. So the wealthy people pay themselves first, and then taxes second, lifestyle third, and business fourth. Other people who haven't figured that out yet may pay business bills first and higher taxes. So, you know, to increase your lifestyle, then you increase your savings and taxes too. So use debt only as a return on investment and only borrow money on things that make you more money. So instead of buying, you know, the large TV sets, you know, and going into $3,000-$4,000 in debt, hey, you know, my TV sets didn't cost that much. Just saying. But you can concentrate on, you know, using that credit instead for things that can provide a return on investment. So for me, for example, it would be having, I have a web guy. Okay, I pay him a salary. So the money that I pay to him is more of an investment because it's an investment in my business. So now I don't have to spend that time that he does working on my business. I don't have to spend that time. I just pay him to do it, but it's causing me to be two places at the same time. So how much is that worth? That's a return on investment, right? So you got to think about where you're spending the money. And then forced savings, well, a minimum amount or 2%, whichever is greater, is what he recommends. Something will always come in to make that minimum amount. So if you're that 2% for you, let's just say it's, I don't know, $100. If you're not putting, you know, you got to put that 2% away every month. Let's just say you got to put that $200 in that one savings account. and you're thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to ever do that? That's, every month. I mean, I might be able to do 75, whatever, but you'll find here, and he says it, something will always come in to make that minimum amount because you said it had to be there. No, I have to have that 2% in that account every month. Okay, then you get somebody who calls you up. Hey, I need to have a session, or I need to have whatever service. Okay, so now you just sold them something. Boom, now you got your $100 or whatever. So you can ask, what can I save right now? How much is that for certain, right? So if maybe it's only $75 or whatever it happens to be. So you do it for 3 months and you won't miss it. And he says, if you have a larger income that month, then you add more. You don't ever turn back. You just add it as a regular monthly debit. So when you demand more from yourself, you get a supply. It will come. You get it when you demand it from yourself. When you demand it, just tell your higher self, this is how it's going to be. We need these 200 benefit statements so that we, I'm demanding this, right? So it doesn't matter when. Do you want to? So you age less when you're inspired. And knowing your mission is the secret of mastering your life. So denying your divinity can hold you back from your magnificence. So own the traits of the wealthy people, see their traits inside of you, and see them as equal. Nothing is missing in you. There's nothing different from you than this other wealthy person. They're the same. Nothing's missing in you. You just see their traits and copy or emulate what they do. So this may seem like a lot, and you can take these in steps, if you will, at least do the clearings and all this that we talked about first. And if you can put together some inner and outer actions on a daily basis and get that kind of stuff, just more of a habit, right? Clearing your vows, you should only have to do that like once, right? And then putting your intention balloon, that would just be really cool to put that out there every day. Just kind of go through your gratitude and then putting out that intention every day. And then going through what John DeMartini tells you here about wealth and how to grow, how to make money, how to grow money, and the secrets of the wealthy really is what he's telling you about. And he's very wealthy. He's done this himself. He's not telling me or you anything that he hasn't already put into place himself. So let's go into the next area. Any questions on that? Okay, good. Alrighty. So this next slide is identifying your perfect you and your perfect customer. All right, so this is going to come in handy when you want to offer services to clients. So identifying what's correct for you and describing your perfect customer, and to know who to attract, right? So consider what's perfect for me. So first of all, that's what you want to do, because it's your business, it's you. So if I can attract anything I want, and I can, what do I really want? That's a big question. And some people, it's taken them all their whole lifetime to answer it, right? So they ask you that in high school and they expect you to know, what do you want to do the rest of your life, right? Some people still don't have a clue what that is, right? But that's where asking your higher self to give you those answers that we already talked about. What do I value, right? So what do I really want? Well, if it is to travel, then how can you make your business part of that value for you if you wanted to travel, right? So you can come up with how that can work for what you really want. Okay, and so use your intuition, come from the heart with your answers. You will get answers from high self. Come from the heart, and then put high self with your answers, okay? So that's number one, is to figure out what you want. And so then part one here, describe the qualities, characteristics, and attributes of your perfect customers. So we know who you are and what you want. And so those things are the values that you have to operate around. And so once you know what that is, then the qualities, characteristics, attributes of your perfect customer. So the list of them can include what type of personality do they have, you know, what things do they say, what activities do they do, resources they have, what are they seeking, you know, what's their demographics. And then you can help imagine that you are servicing these ideal clients. Okay, so you have to imagine who that client is, and then you'll know who to attract. It's just like when we do our intention statements, we chart out, well, what could possibly be blocking that? Well, chart it out. Now you know, right? So if you don't know who your target customer is, you can't attract that because you just don't have a clue. You're out there all over the place. But if you have that laser beam beamed in on that person, that's what they call your avatar, then you will know that's the person I'm here to serve. That's the person I'm here to help. So for me, it was women, midlife women, and working in the endocrine system on glands, right? Because there's a lot of the aging components there around that. So that was what I had intended, who my customer is and my perfect customer. And that is what my list looks like now, right? So my list is those women that are in that general category. And what they're seeking is, you know, things to bring them fulfillment, health, wholeness, well-being, you know, maybe balancing out their energies, their hormones, their whatever in midlife and so forth, right? So that's who, you know, females, middle-aged kind of thing, right? So you can put and you can name them, you know, my gal's name is Monica. Okay. She's 45. Right. And so you can actually bring this person to life. It's like your cast of characters. Okay. So, and then who is she married to, and, you know, whatever their issues might be and stuff like that. Right. So she's got a lot of stress. She's, you know, at work, and yeah, so her adrenals need servicing, whatever. Okay. But this will tell you exactly who that person is, and who then you can put into your intention bubble, send it off. It's not just for money. That intention bubble is for anything. You're going to put in there that yes, of course, you have that $1 million plus business, but you can also be more specific. I'm servicing, you know, women. I'm, you know, people just like Monica, 45 years old with these issues, you know. Put that in your bubble, send it off. Then part 2, identifying what makes you and your perfect customers tick. So what's their deepest desire? You know, do they want to stay youthful, for example? You know, always been there since childhood. What is that thing that they've always wanted? You know, maybe it was to have a perfect marriage or family, or, you know, who knows what, right? But for your customer, what is it that they've always wanted since they were children? So that drives their important actions. That drives their actions. What it is that they really desire is driving their actions. Whether they are, you know, shown on the outside or not, it's in here, it's still in here, and it's still what they want, right? So you can create a tick statement and a list of tick words. So these are used in your marketing, and these words, when that perfect identifying customer hears those words, it's irresistible to them, right? So the words could be youthful, or, you know, whatever it happens to be that you've identified for them. So if you use those words, then those are the people you're attracting because they resonate to those words. So this, in essence, is allowing you then to work with the perfect people that you are here to serve. So it's a way to self-identify and to have those people step forward who resonate to that, so that you can help them now, because this is what you've become an expert in, and you can help these people. So it's the way of identifying, and then they're self-identifying themselves based on what your words are and statements. So specify what you want your perfect customers to expect from you. So maybe you want them to, you know, what you're already offering. So things that you offer, that you want them to be able to expect those products or services, or your business and your personal boundaries. So you want to have, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 hours, so that's what you want them to expect of you, not to, call you on a Sunday afternoon or whatever, right? So whatever it happens to be. And then your goals and dreams. They have to be aligned with your goals and your dreams. Can't have your customers change up your whole mission or your whole vision for your business because they want that one thing. Well, that's great. And maybe you can consider to other people, maybe they are onto something here. Maybe I should consider offering that in, as a package or, program or whatever. But if it has nothing to do with your intended, vision that you've come up with, from your little headquarters up here, you saw it. It's like, no, that wasn't included in that. That's way off out of the bounds. Then, if that's what those people want, then they're not your perfect customers. They want somebody else then that can provide that. And then what's perfect for me? So seeing the top of your page, if you wanted to travel or whatever that happens to be, is that going to fit in with that? If it is, great. If it's not, then consider, well, that's one of my higher priorities. I guess that's not going to, work, right? So making sure that they fit in to your expectations or expectations of the business. And then part 4, declare who you're willing to be to attract what you want. So who are you willing to be? Name your being, right? So is there a person that's already doing this? Is there somebody that you can emulate or, copy in a way? As John DeMartini said, to follow the ways of the wealthy and do what they do. Whatever it is they're doing, it's working, right? So if it's working for this person, who's that person? I'm willing to be, and you don't have to be that person, but just, like that person, whoever, name their name. Is there somebody famous, right? Or somebody who's even not living now, but has invented something or whatever that you really, that's the person that you want to be like, name it. And then you create an inspiring character to live into. So you can put your own name on that person, and you can see them acting and being just like that other person that you, envied, or you don't want to say envy because that's not a good emotion. Okay. You don't want to envy them. But if you see somebody doing something that you want to do too, look at that person as what an example, what a great example. I can copy what they do, not word for word or anything like that, because that's not right. But you can, borrow some of the things that they do and do them in your own way, in your own words and so forth, and put that out there. Then that's, that person that you want to, that character that you live into. So maybe it's dressing a different way. You maybe have a different outfit that you've got to put on now or something. And maybe you do your hair different or whatever that happens to be. You don't want to look shabby anymore, for just an example, right? You got to start looking the part, if you will. So be that person, start being it, start living into it and being it yourself. Then you will find that you are, that's who you become. And then for everything that you desire, there is a way of being that will attract it and a way of being that will repel it. So for example, if you desire, say, more customers, but you feel worried, then you could attract worried customers, and then you could be repelling the perfect ones. Right. So get the worry out of there. Just seeing that you're serving people just like I did yesterday. I had a full day of all sessions. I didn't see anything except for, oh, okay, that person, we're going to, work on this for them. And I wasn't worried about, oh, geez, what are we going to do with this person now? What we did last week, we're still having the same issue. Oh, no. Now, no worry. Don't bring worries into that. This is what their body gave you to work on that last week, right? And it may have opened up some other areas so that now this week, don't worry about it. It's coming. It'll just open up itself for you, what you're going to work on this week. Keep the worry out of it, right? So just be that way that will attract more of what it is that you want, not what you don't want. You don't want worried customers. So a simple shift in being will stop this cycle of fear and transform it to love. Yep. And then so revise your plan. You can just take 5 minutes a day. If there's something that you want different, then cross stuff out. That doesn't seem to be working that well for me. Maybe I'll, maybe I'll do something, just modify it. And then you test it, revise it, and then and test. Okay. Test if working, right? And if not, then revise again. Right, and you can just keep going back. Okay, so this didn't work. Well, let's add this instead. Well, how is this working? And then a couple weeks later, yeah, people really seem to like that. I think I'm going to keep that in there. People really didn't care for that so much, and it just took up too much time anyway. We'll get rid of that, right? So that's how you work. And it's not like you're just going to hit a 100, home run right off the bat. You're not probably going to do that the first thing out the door. But you will once you continually improve. That's the continuous improvement. They have a word for it in Japan. Continuous improvement, something or other. But yeah, they have an actual word for it. Continuously improve. Any questions around that? And I have one more. And we'll get to this here. And this is the chart that I'd sent, or the Word doc anyway, around 8 steps to taking your business online. So this is things for you to be aware of. So the time to get your heart-based business online is more I didn't write that apparently, because I can't even say that. Present than ever. If you aren't online yet, or you are only partway there, I want to help you get ahead of the curve as millions of people all over the world take their business online. Okay, so I did write this though. My business has been online for 23 years, and I have been helping others put their businesses online that whole time. So actually, I worked in marketing, online marketing. I worked in marketing for a long time, right? Advertising and, print advertising way back in the day, right? Newspapers, magazines, direct mail, that kind of stuff. I was pretty good. I was really good, actually. Got awards and stuff like that for being that person. Ad copy, writing ad copy. And I had to zero in on what the person wanted, right? So this was brought into my business here by knowing what I did for clients there. So you write an ad and nobody comes to that business that week. Well, that ad sucked, right? That flopped. All right, back to the drawing board. So then, okay, so you ask the client then, what is it, who's your customers? Who are you trying to attract here, right? Same kind of stuff. So you want to attract whatever type of business you are, and they have their avatar, right? Okay, so they're men. They are interested. These are like motorsports, bikes and 4-wheelers or whatever, right? So that's going to be a whole different avatar, right? But then writing the copy around that's going to attract that guy. That's, and what interests him, right? So, so looking at it from that same perspective, I used to do that. I still have a couple clients, but most part I don't have time for for it. But so steps to your wildly attractive online business, you can create your attraction plan. So creating that plan, it helps you to clarify who and what you are attracting. So we already went through that with your identifying your perfect customer and what makes your tribe tick, and then become a magical magnet for your perfect customers, right? So this process has helped tens of thousands of people all over the world to begin attracting the right people, often within 48 hours. So really knowing who that person is is the main thing. And then identifying their profile, like we already talked about, getting their avatar, you'll want to put that into words, like I was just saying, those tick words, right? Statements, and who that profile is of, you can say your soul tribe profile. So that's your whole, your whole base, your client base. So when they hear you speak to them, they say, oh, that's for me. She's got me. She knows who I am. And then they will know. You don't even have to see them or whatever, talk to them anymore. They will know that they're for you. And then creating your tribe attracting message. You want to create that authentic brand message that attracts and engages them. So the words that you use should be unique to you and reveal your essence, your skill set, and the results that you produce for these particular clients, keeping them always in mind, right? So I always have Monica in mind. What's she doing today? How's she feeling? And so forth. So then design your irresistible freebie and that list building funnel. So this is something that you can do yourself by putting together a, like could be, I don't really ever give like a free healing, because there's too much involved with that they could be having some major problems. Like, how are you going to, solve their biggest problem of their life for free in 10 minutes? It's not going to happen. People are going to get misskewed. Their expectations aren't going to match their results. And that's not what we're about. You can certainly let go of a lot of attachments, and they could, boom, be certainly feeling a lot better right off the bat. And they probably can. However, some people don't even realize, they can't even feel anything. They won't even know that they had 10, attachments just released off them. They just don't get in touch with their feelings, because now they haven't been in their body. And now you got to be bringing them back in their body and doing some more stuff. And, so I don't ever give free sessions, but I will give like a free reading, however, so you could read the person and what they're saying to you. You could give them an objective. Here's what I'm getting and where, things are stuck, right? So you could, being new, starting out, if you are, not saying you all are, but if you are, then that irresistible thing. And that's good even if you are already in business for yourself, having it something on your website for them to opt into, that list, having them put their name and email to a web form, opts them into your list. And now these are the people who resonated to you, right? So now these are the people that are the ones that you actually are trying to attract, right? So that you can start building that group or soul tribe, whatever you want to call them here. It says soul tribe, but so whatever that happens to be, you could do a reading, hey, free reading, and then that builds your list. So then it gets them started working with you in a low pressure setting. And then plus an invitation to connect with you. So it could be, here's the free reading, and then here's a link. We'll connect on Zoom or the phone or whatever it happens to be. And then you can go over the things that you came up with. And then you can also put them into a sequence that helps them keep connected and interested in what you're up to. So you could have a email that goes out, a newsletter or something like that, right? Until they're ready to work with you. And then that law of reciprocity that we already talked about with the John DeMartini, where you get that, you give them something and you give them something of value. Now they got on the phone with you and you went over these things and they're like, oh, wow. So that law of reciprocity may work for them so that they want to do something in return for you. Like, okay, so I'll buy the package, whatever it happens to be. And in doing so, they are improving their lives, right? This is something of value you're going to give them back. So if they gave you, let's say $100, you're going to give them back $100 at least worth of value, because what could that be worth, what you just did by letting go of all those, dark energies around them, bringing their life force, bringing them to a different perspective. Maybe that day they run into an opportunity and now they have a brand new client or customer in their business because they feel so much better about themselves. Now, how much was that $100 really worth, right? could be thousands of dollars to them because they did what you offered them, right? So this is so much more than you're not just being a snake oil salesman here. What you're doing is providing a tremendous more value than most people are charging for it. And then you'll find some people that are charging, oh, whatever you can afford. Well, you know what? There's people with $1 million in cash right now that want to keep that $1 million. Oh, well, I can't afford to take any of that $1 million out of my investment fund. I only got $5 here today. So yeah, I'm going to give you $5. Well, that's not fair. That is not a fair, exchange of value, right? So don't ever say, oh, whatever you can afford. No, you put the value on it, and those that can afford it, they will find the money to buy it. They will. It will come because they have now changed their mindset, saying, geez, maybe I don't need that, that 1 million-inch TV set. Maybe what I do need is this, because this really resonates with me. And I'm going to save up the next couple of paychecks or whatever so I can get it, right? So it's wherever their values are. And so it's the words that you use that would attract them to your value. That they're going to change their mind around that TV set. Now that TV set's not giving them the same words, that warm and fuzzy thing that they really want, which is to look more youthful or to feel better, not be a burden on their families and old age, whatever it happens to be, becomes more important. So then number 5, define your unique visual brand. So, that's logo, colors, right? Here's what somebody told me to do. And I thought it was kind of unique. You build a Pinterest board. And I'm not into, so I don't have the time for all that, but I did it. I built a Pinterest board, and I put in, she said, just go and find things on other boards that really talk to you. And it could be just the color of that thing. It doesn't have to be that couch. Maybe you don't need a couch, but you love the color of it. So put that on there, put in there those things that just really spark your interest. Like, wow, I don't know what it is about that, but I'm putting that on my board. And you just keep throwing stuff on there. And then when you're done, you can look at it and go, wow, that is a representative of my aesthetics, my colors, my fabrics, my how the crystals that I love, and the different jewelry or artwork or places, so that represents you. Now, you could give that link to that board over to someone like a web person that does a website for you and just say, hey, this is all my favorite stuff and the colors that I want you to go by. And then now you've given them a valuable place to start, because most people will not have done that. And now the web guy is like, I don't know who you are and what you really want, but is this it? It's like, no, that doesn't, I don't know, something's wrong. And then you're playing back and forth with this person. And when you could have just been real specific with them in the beginning and shown them exactly, these things will just really pop for me. If you add this stuff in there, I will love it, and it will represent you. So that's, and I guess I could put that on here, a Pinterest board of you. And so then create your online home base, that's your website, right? So you can have a web guy do it, or, yeah, you could set up sites like this yourself. But yeah, we prefer WordPress with a Divi theme, visual builder, and so forth. And there's the do-it-yourself ones. A lot of times you're going to get like WordPress.mynameofmybusiness.com, but you don't want WordPress dot in there. You want your own domain name. So, so I would suggest, like, you can go to GoDaddy and buy a domain yourself. So now you have that account. That's your account. You own it. Then you can also go to like a HostGator.com and then buy hosting service. So now you own the hosting service. It's yours. You host your website on your domain name. You don't want the web guy getting involved with owning anything. This is okay, because believe me, I don't get involved with that. Don't let them, oh, we'll just host it for you. Oh, we'll, I'll set up all the accounts for you. You don't have to, whatever. Well, yeah, in the end, if you don't want this person working for you anymore, good luck getting your accounts. Or they'll give them to you, but they're going to sell them to you. Okay, well, for $1,000, I'll get you the passwords to your stuff. It's like, no, okay. You think this doesn't happen? It happens a lot. It happens a lot. So if you've already bought your own domain name, you have the account, you know the password, you own it, it's yours, and you have your own hosting service. Now, you just need to install, a WordPress. You need to install WordPress, and then you need to install a theme. And you can go to places like Theme Forest. Where are all the places that you buy? You can just Google search this, like WordPress themes. Yeah, search for WordPress themes. Okay. And there's a different places. And you just look at all their themes, and it's kind of like examples of what your website could look like. And then you buy one, and then you install that. So now you have WordPress installed, you have your theme installed on your own platform, on your own hosting, and then on your own domain name, right? So if you do all these 4 things, but you don't know how to do a website from there, if you just did those things and gave that to your web person, or even these 2, you could just have them do these themselves too. Because but maybe picking out the theme, I would definitely pick out the theme. You don't have to maybe install it yourself if you don't know what you're doing there, but at least pick it out and give them the URL to that page that you're looking at, that theme. Just say, I want my site to look like this. You already did most of the work for that person, all the prep work. They don't have to guess. Now it's going to be really close to what you want. This is going to work out a lot better for you. So do your own stuff. I'm going to tell you this, avoid all the hassles of, yeah. And, Squarespace, Wix, Weebly. Yeah, if you really want to just do it all on your own because of budget purposes, yeah, you could. But at the same time, if you don't have your own domain, it's not hosted on your own domain name. They're hosting it for you. They hold the keys. And if you want to stop business with them, boom, away goes your website. They own it. It's on their hosting. It's on their service. Gone. You don't. It's all that work you put in there. If you don't want to deal with them anymore, it's out the window. You own nothing. So just letting you know, you buy your own domain, you buy your own hosting, then you own it. You own all the stuff that you've put on there, okay? And then being everywhere online so you can be found. So once your website is up, and even if you just have a web page, just one page, it doesn't have to be complicated. It can just be one page with that web form. So that web form would be a autoresponder. There's a free one called MailChimp, and you can just start with that. And so you add the web form to your web page. We're just going to call it a page, just one, doesn't have to be a whole site. So then you add that web form to your web page to collect, the names and email addresses of people who are interested, who find your site somewhat interesting, and you gave them this, free offer to get a free reading or whatever it happens to be. Now they've opted in, and now you got a message saying, hey, so-and-so just opted into your website. So you can, whatever you want to do, contact them, however, and, hey, let's set up a time, however you want to do it. You'll get that notification. So then, yeah, being everywhere, promoting yourself, getting on multiple media platforms, that all link to your page or your site. And then that tells the search engines about you. So the search engines will have, more clicks to that web page. You'd move up in rank and so forth if somebody's looking for the keywords, doing a search in Google for the keywords that are your keywords. And you will put the keywords, add your keywords, and that could be healer, whatever, right? So add your keywords to the meta tags. So like I'll just say title tag of the page. Okay. So there's a title tag. And a lot of people leave that title tag saying title. They don't know. Instead, they could, and who's looking for, I'm going to do a Google search for title. All these pages would come up with all these people that don't have a clue, right? But most people are looking for something. They want a restaurant, pizza in whatever city, right? So that's what you're going to put there. You're going to put pizza in whatever city you are. That's your keywords, if that's what kind of restaurant you are, or whatever. So when people are doing a search, that identifies your page is, hey, that's a relevant one. We'll serve up that site to this person that just searched for that. So, so you want to make sure your title tag has your keywords on it. So that's the backlinking as we're talking about here. Odds of being found online. And then offer online trainings. You could do that. Let's see. You could do something on Facebook Live, YouTube, offering people to come and do little mini things, clearings or something. And then if you put it up on, online, people all over the world, you can find you, and then you can connect from there. Maybe you have people you want to exchange ideas or have a regular weekly kind of thing. That's up to you. But make sure that when you do something like that, that there's a reason. There's got to be a purpose behind it. It's not just to, this is just be fun. Okay, well, if you just want to have fun, do that. But if you have, what is this supposed to lead to? Do you want to work with people, to be able to offer them your services there? Okay, well, then make sure that you have it set up that you're working around something that you offer, so that keep the end in mind. So, if it's working with children, let's just say your expertise is working with children, then you're probably going to invite the mothers of the children on these little sessions, and then you'll talk about the things that children have issues around, right? So that you can get them thinking about, well, maybe my kid could, use some help with this. And then at the end, you can offer them something, a little package for children that you're going to clear, and then they'll be more, I should probably try that. Yeah. Because you gave them information, and maybe that law of reciprocity is kicking in with them again, where they're like, oh gosh, altruism, right? So I just received, an hour's or, even an hour, maybe half hour, 45 minutes of all this free information. And you probably gave them some value, things that they can do to their, for their child themselves, a couple tips, and then offer them what you can do to speed up that process. Okay. You could be talking to your therapist until they're, left the house and married, or you could help them now in a much quicker way and clear the stuff for them. And they don't have to be talking with a therapist the rest of their life. So here's a little checklist going through the stuff we just talked about. Have I created my attraction plan? But I haven't revised it, or I created it and revised it once, or I'm revising it regularly. What are you doing? And I've identified my soul tribe, so forth. I've created my messaging, and I'm testing it, right? And here's your notes. I've designed my irresistible freebie, or that thing that they would opt into on your webpage for. So where are you here? I have one, but I don't have the opt-in page yet, whatever. It just kind of lets you know where you're at. defining your unique visual brand, and where you're at. Oh, that's the Pinterest board here, aesthetic board, to identify your brand. You could use Canva, you know, to design if you want to do that kind of thing yourself. And notes around that, and then creating your home base, your online base, your website. So where are you in that? Be everywhere online so you can be found. And then here are the places that you can set yourself up online. Yeah, there's a few others, you know, whatever that happens to be. And I would say directories, you know, like you've got Yelp, right? I know they have a category for psychics. So, and I'm not on Yelp. I was thinking about it, doing it once, and I looked it up, and I think there's some category that's pretty close. Because I know that there's, you know, acupuncture and different things like that on there. So you could look up the Yelps and the other type of online directories that are out there, and put yourself up, and people will find you. There's also, you know, they could be like, you know, some kind of new age magazine or some kind of something or other that you could get your name in. You know, I've done that kind of stuff. It just kind of depends to what market you're in, you know, and what people that are going to be reading that, you know, information, or where they're going to be. Or you can, I'm going to say, okay, so let's just put on here, partner with others. Okay, so somebody has a list already, for example, and that has the exact type of clients that you would be specializing in. That would be the type of people that would resonate with your stuff. Well, they're not offering what you do at all, right? So maybe they are a chiropractor, for example, and you can approach the chiropractor and just say, here's my list of services. Here's, you know, even if you had a flyer, if you don't even have a website or a web page, whatever, you have a flyer or just somewhere that they can go online and download your flyer or something, you know, but even just bringing a flyer into all the different chiropractors in town, something like that, and just saying, this is what I do. Or if you work with pets, you can go to the veterinarians and just say, hey, if you have customers that come in and their pet is acting like this, and you're not exactly sure how to help them, hey, call me, or have them, you know, call me. And then maybe you give a little split with them, right? You share a revenue, whatever, you know, 20% or whatever it happens to be. Let them know that they can make commission by referring you. So referral. Okay, well, I should put that here, referrals. Because you could offer referrals to anybody, right? So that could be your friend, somebody that you know that has a large social network or something like that. And you just tell them, hey, you know, these are the things I do. And the way that you will know that you should refer them to me is if they have these problems. So anybody with this problem, you'll know, oh, wow, they got that problem. I should refer them to you because you told them those are the problems you work on, you know? So list of problems you solve. And then they'll know, right? You can't just say, oh, I'm an energy healer. Oh, great. The phone will never ring. They don't know what that means, or, you know, or what does that do? What, you know, how will I know I need one? You know, you tell them, this is why they need me. This is a list of stuff that you'll know. If you see them with these problems, you just have them call me. Here's my, how you get a hold of me. Maybe you have a card, maybe, you know, I think maybe a flyer would be better. You have more front and the back, you know, to put information on there. And then just print them off, right? And just go to all the different places. These are ways just to get your foot in the door. As a advertising representative, I've done this for years, and it works. Okay, now you might not have the right person there at the desk that will assist you, but leaving the flyer there, just, you know, and just saying, can you make sure that this gets to the office manager or the owner, whatever it happens to be, depends on the size of the business, you know, you can kind of judge that. Or you already know their name because it's the chiropractic office of Dr. Benson, right? So, hey, can you make sure that Dr. Benson gets this, please? Or even have their name, to Dr. Benson, on the top of the flyer, right? And you'll be surprised in their off hours, maybe they will get that and just say, wow, yeah, I've had people with that problem. I don't know what to do with that so much, you know? Maybe it is an energy thing that I should partner with this person. And now they'll see it as a revenue stream for them, right? So that they can make extra money by doing nothing except, you know, referring to you. Now you may have to do a session for them so that they will know, you can prove your abilities, if you will, for them, you know, that, well, if I refer my customers that I love to you, are they going to get treated right? You know, are they going to get the results that you're saying that they could, right? So you may just have to do, and that could even be part of your approach to them, is saying that you will offer them a free reading so that they will experience your services themselves. Now, who's going to say no to that? Yeah, it might, you know, that'll probably be more interesting to a lot more people that, oh, so nothing to lose, right? There's no risk involved here. So they get a free reading, a free clearing, you know, you may want to, whatever, something that they can feel, maybe the vitality thing, if you will. And if they call back and say, yeah, I will take you up on that, then spend the time that it takes, do the reading, clear things, you know, on that list, whatever they ask them. If there's a certain issue that you'd like to focus on, you know, they could say maybe a headache or whatever. Okay, so then you can work around that. Yeah. But those are things to just get yourself out there. And then the referrals of other people, friends, now that person, you've worked on them and they're getting a result, now they can refer you to their friends or relatives, and it starts that way. And then you'll be you're gonna want to have a let's see, how do you put this in here, a calendar, online calendar, and there's free ones too, so that you have a scheduler, so that and even if you had a flyer and no website, but you have the link to that online calendar, you could just do that. Just put that link on that for the online calendar across the bottom there of your flyer, and then they can go to that and then schedule themselves in for that free session, you know, with you, or whatever, that reading. So you could just do that real quick. Now, if you want to, there is that, those calendar links can be quite lengthy, and who's going to want to, oh geez, that was A, B, A, 2, you know, whatever. So there's certain things like you could go to bit.ly, bit.ly, and that will shrink your URL to a bit.ly. It's a bit.ly / you know, your link, whatever. Okay, / your name. There's tiny.url, and that would be / your link, whatever your name is, right? So it shortens it way down for you. Or if you bought your own domain name, so it's going to be your domain. Yeah, yourdomain.com. And so what you do there is it's like a 401 redirect. It's in GoDaddy. You can do a redirect. So where do you want to direct that domain name to? Well, if someone puts in yourdomain.com, that one you just bought off GoDaddy, then it will redirect to that long scheduler link, you know. So you can do I guess it's called like a 401 redirect to the calendar link. So you can ask somebody at GoDaddy. You can just call them up and just say, hey, I got this domain name, in GoDaddy here, and I want to redirect my domain. So if somebody types it in, it's going to direct it over to my calendar, that long link to my calendar. How do I do that? And they'll walk you through it. I've had them do things like that. So you can ask them to help you. And that's all you need then, like a flyer, and then yourdomainname.com on the bottom of it. If they go there, you can just say, hey, go here and schedule your appointment or your free reading. So once you do that, it's not like there's a phone number. Oh, geez, I can call them, but what am I going to say? I get them on the phone. I don't know. That's more intimidating for people. Instead, if you just gave them a link to a calendar, that's so less intimidating, so less stress, takes the risk off involved with them. Now, all they do is they just made a session for a free reading. So that feels a lot safer to them, right? Than just throwing themselves off about, oh God, I gotta call somebody, right? That might not be comfortable off the bat. So that I could recommend. Just getting a whole gob of flyers and just going out there. You're gonna find somebody, right? That's interested in what you do. You will. That's just the law of numbers. Right. And if one person's like, oh, geez, I don't know, whatever, hey, you're not my customer. Or maybe the chiropractor or whoever the owner is, but maybe that gal at the desk is just, brain dead. You know what I mean? You don't have to go by anything they say. You just say, oh, well, you know what? I'm just leaving this here for Mr. Benson. Appreciate that he gets that. Thanks so much. Enjoy your day. And walk out, that's all you got to do, right? And next, law of numbers, just go on. Makes no difference if, and then you'd be surprised sometimes that they call you, you never know. You never know who's going to call you back. So just get out there and just start doing it. And, it might feel uncomfortable for you the first few times, but after a while, it's nothing. Absolutely nothing after a while. And it's fun. It really gets fun. I got to tell you, because then you're out there, you got the pulse, your finger on the pulse of what's going on in town. You've seen all these different things going on out there, and you're kind of like part of the day, and, you just gave yourself, I've often said that, I gave myself the day off out of the office to come out here and meet people in my town. I want to meet you and see, what you're doing, so that maybe there's a possibility we can do some business together. So really, you're not asking them for money. You're not asking them for anything. You're just asking them, what is it that there's a potential that we can be partners. We're business partners. We're on the same wavelength here. We're at the same level. You're not above me because you have an office. No, we're at the same level. And there's a possibility that your clients can benefit from what I do. And, if I have clients that, I could refer back to you because they clearly need an adjustment or something like that, we can work it that way too. However, you're going to get commission for everybody you send to me. Plus, you're going to get a free reading and a clearing from me. And monthly, I'll do this for the first 3 months. Anybody who's, going to be a partner with me, I will clear your facility. So that's where we were doing at the beginning of today when I showed you the property and, space clearing. I did this. I used to have clients that were actually chiropractors and different naturopaths or whatever, and I would clear their offices because the people that come through there on a daily basis, they're leaving their energy there. So there could be all kinds of different spirits. There could be all kinds of dark energy, so that you read it, okay, the energy here is, I'm getting 12% dark energy. There's a couple of ghosts now here. You want this cleared? Yeah, please do. So you can add that as a bonus that you're going to be adding, including it with for free. I mean, there's nothing that they have to do except start that partnership with you and start referring clients. So let's say the first person that you refer to me is going to start that free clearing, right? So if you refer one person to me, you're going to get a free month of clearing. If you refer 2 people to me, then you're going to get 2 months of free clearing, or whatever, however you want to do it. It doesn't matter. Just giving you ideas, things that maybe, you wouldn't have thought of by yourself. But then these things are also what you can apply to that list of 200 ideas. Like, how can I be in the way of money? Well, that you just kind of put yourself in the middle of that chiropractor's customer list, right? So his customer list are potentially your customers, so that you just put yourself in that spot, right? So the attraction there, and when you're going and making that list of 200 things, this can be one of them. JV, joint venture partners, if you want to call it that, joint venture, or JV, or Jessica Venture. That's your initials. All right. So any questions here? And you have the recording you can always come back to and get, information. I think there was stuff on the, had that problem. Okay, yeah. What are you calling yourself? Oh, what am I calling myself in public? That's a good question. It kind of depends on who I'm talking to.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I do. Yep. You change it around.
I do.
Yeah.
Do.
Okay.
Yeah. And then making sure that you have clear tech. Yeah, that's a good one. And then doing the tech clearings, clearing your stuff.
And we'll get all these, right?
Yeah.
The checklets. Yeah.
Yeah. I sent it to you before, but I can send you the edited version. I know I was kind of making some notes on this. I can resend them to you too. And you know what, as far as the hand movements, why don't I make a little video and then I'll send that to you guys too, so that because I know one person had in the chat earlier, if I can just go through all the different hand movements. I'll just send you a little video so that way you can have it instead of playing this whole 4-hour whatever it is thing back and trying to find the spot. Let's see, anybody else is clear okay. I think I got the questions in the box here. I don't think I have received these charts about abundance in business. Yeah, I'll send out the charts again. Yeah, Judy. Yeah, and Judy, did you have a question? Did you want to bring that up about your chart? That's something you want to talk about today, or you want to bring that maybe up with tomorrow?
Well, if you still have time, my question was about when I use a dowsing chart, and beside the numbers, percentages, there is also the alphabet on that chart. And I've had the problem where it seems like that there is either some kind of a portal or an insert, and I seem to have dark energies come through. And I'm wondering if anybody has had that experience or has any insight as to why that happens to me.
Can any of you assist with that?
Where was it? Where did you say the portal? I missed the first part.
I have a paper dowsing chart.
Oh.
And beside it having numbers and percentages and what have you on the chart, there is the alphabet. There's a circle, and then it goes like an A at the 12 o'clock position, and the alphabet goes all the way around to maybe the 8 o'clock position. And if I try to douse on those letters on the alphabet to try and get information, then I get this dark energy come through and it hijacks my dowsing session. And I'm wondering if anyone else has had that problem or has any insight as to what may be happening.
So this is interesting because I stopped using a pendulum for that reason. Like that's why I started using myself,
Okay.
Marlene. So I don't know if I felt like it was susceptible more than my body. So that was something that brought up. So you might have to answer that one.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I was thinking too, is that, and it does, and that's why I don't usually use the pendulum. But when you do, own this thing, have it be your best friend, have it, hang out with it, make sure it's clear, it's, you want to have the intention every time, like, okay, I'm clear all interferences, clear all energies that would be attached to this this extension of me. This is an extension of my arm. So it's really your muscles in your arm that's making this thing swing, right? It should be. But if there's something outside of you that can make it swing a different way, that could be an interference in the home, right? So is there a portal? Is there something in the home? Is there, Carrie, do you want to jump in with this one too and just get your opinion and see what you get?
Can I interject just one more thing? Remember, Marlene, how I purchased the dowsing chart booklet off of Amazon by Dale W. Olson? And it had the most cool charts, and they're very interesting, where you could get all kinds of information, but we could not get that clear. That had some energy attached, and I had to end up getting it out of my house and throwing it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also think there's like, it's like a guide to clear a past life where you have stuff with healing, especially around this. So it feels to me like, yes, that the vibration might be low around that particular map or whatever, chart, but like it's guiding you to clear that other piece. Does that resonate at all, Marlene?
So it's guiding you to clear something from
So it's yes, that's great. I feel like, so the way I work with my clients, it's like, well, this is presenting itself because there is something else that needs to be cleared, which is potentially, which I'm seeing sort of like a healing life that hasn't been looked at yet.
Okay, a life of a healer that we haven't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So it's like, oh, cool. Okay. This chart's like showing me exactly where I need to go.
Okay. Yeah. That can certainly be, yeah, I think that's a great insight. So going into somewhere where you've had issues around using a pendulum or charts, you got in trouble for doing it, or hunger, whatever, killed. So you're having the same issue come up now where maybe there's a curse on that, right? So the curse is causing this stuff to come through to throw you off.
Well, Marlene, remember a couple of sessions ago, you found something with a convent, a mother superior, a priest, and a nun, and the nun was channeling and got punished and killed or something.
Yeah.
So would that have something to do with all of this?
I'm getting yes, there's still things around. Yes, and you know what? We did not look at that lifetime as far as exactly what you were doing. We could bring that up and find out. Yep, because I am getting curses. I'm getting demonic curses too. So is there, Carrie, did you want to jump in and are you getting anything around this too? I'm gonna read it.
Well, I just to add to yours, I was getting the risen demons, but I wasn't totally sure. I was still a little bit fuzzy on what the actual question was. I'm listening, but I'm not quite totally sure yet. What actually was what's the actual question? Could you repeat your question?
So she's using like a clearing chart, a chart that she bought online. Yeah. And it when you go to get your answers, it's giving her stuff like Like it's fooling her. It's giving her wrong information.
Oh, okay.
It's deceptive.
Okay. Okay. That's what, okay.
Mhm.
Actual entities come through and they're communicating through the alphabet. They're hijacking my session.
Right. So I mean, so so past lives are my real thing. I just see them like movies. I just see that this is more than one, I'm getting 3, where you've been a healer in some way, and it's like really calling for you to do this level of work. Where you go back, you got to go back and figure out when we heal and then when something happens to the people that we work with, or when we're a healer and our families are murdered, it's tough. It's like it leaves a mark, it leaves the trauma, it needs to be cleared. And that's kind of what I'm seeing. So instead of saying like, oh, this is, it's cursed, like it's a portal, let's look at it like, wow, this is a beautiful gift, because now I can see I got to go back and clear these. It's guiding you to where you need to go to clear the next thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, like I said at the very first session, I've never done this kind of thing before. I worked 33 years in business for General Motors, but I was so intrigued and drawn to it and interested by what Marlene was doing and how she comes up with all these answers that I felt I wanted to try and learn.
Yeah, that's great. It's a lot though. It is like, you got to give yourself some credit that this is not, this is different and new, and you're going to maybe be patient with yourself.
Mhm.
Well, I'm learning a lot, lots of insights, and thank you for this insight.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, so the three lifetimes as a healer, I think that's a great place to start, Judy, when we can go into those and see what's stopping you from getting your answer.
Once a psychic told me that I'm a healer, and it didn't resonate at all because I had no experience in this lifetime.
Yeah. Yep. And you maybe were not going to do it in this lifetime.
Right.
Yeah. Because of the past life stuff. Yep.
Well, I only made an appointment with you through that From Heartache to Joy. And a lot of times I was getting those emails and I ignored them, but for some reason I was attracted to your session, and that's when I contacted you for help.
Yeah. Yep. There's always, there's always guidance that we're getting to, and so who do you resonate to, right? What we were just talking about too with the online thing and the, finding the right people that you want to work with or that are right for you. So
Judy, I'm getting, if you want, I can, I feel like you're going to need Marlene, I feel like this is what I need to say. I'm being guided to help her.
okay.
I feel like it's a lot of energy that she's going to try to clear by herself. But you gotta, like, does that work?
Well, if I can uncover the lifetimes and exactly what was involved, I think maybe I could do it and make that part of my case study.
That was kind of what I didn't know if that would be, like, should she do it as a case study or?
Yeah. Put that as a case study, and then let's work on that, because that does seem to be, something holding you back to getting correct information. And not all of it's incorrect, but it's like, then you question yourself, like, is this right or is that right? So go ahead and put that as your one of your issues, and bring it tomorrow.
So would it be the issue being around 3 lifetimes as a healer and whatever was?
Yeah, so put that as underneath it. So the top thing would be, the issue would be getting clear information from my dowsing. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's the intention, the right permission and ability to get, you know, to enjoy, you know, 100% optimal information, you know, clear, you know, responses from my dowsing. And then, so what would be in the way of that? Now, then you can go to your charts, and everything that you get a yes to, put it on your chart. Like, is there something in your bloodline? Is that your mother's mother? You know, whatever. If you get a yes, put it down, right? So then go through all the charts, everything that you can identify, and then go ahead and put like the past lives, put, you know, timeline, put three lifetimes, as Jessica mentioned. So that's all on the chart. And then go ahead and clear the things that you know how to clear already, and then bring that and as your case study, and then we can see if this is complete, is this all, is there anything else, and what else, you know, needs to be done from there.
Okay, I'll try.
Yeah, and it is exponential, I think, when we bring more people into it. So by having others looking at a situation that you've been struggling with, it's easier for others to see it from the outside than sometimes it is for us to see it ourselves, because of these blocks, right? So yeah.
I guess one little bit of input I would have too is, have you used any selenite or any other stones to help you?
Yes, well, I have this paper chart that is problematic with the alphabet on it. On this oak table here in my finished basement, I have a big piece of selenite right on it, and I'm sitting on hematite and hematite under both feet, and still I have all this trouble.
Yeah, I generally for myself, I hold selenite in my hand, but I do find that it really amplifies the clearing process for me. But yeah, just an additional thought. And then for myself too, it took me a long time to be able to consistently get what I felt were accurate readings. So some people are faster and some are slower. I'm
Well,
more intuitively connected, so it's tougher for me to move to the physical. So usually I still stick with intuitive, and I follow up with physical to see if they're the same.
Well, I've had no idea that I could even douse or have any kind of intuitive ability, but it intrigued me, just like Marlene's abilities intrigue me. So I've been playing around with dowsing for quite a few years, but I have not always trusted my answers. And as I'm saying, I've had all these incidents where my dowsing was hijacked and it was all bogus. So that sort of rattled my molecules.
Yeah, so you're doubting and you're not sure now, is this accurate? And yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so try and identify then from the charts what could be, you know, is there like group mind, is there, you know, anything of perception going on too, and then the dark energies, go through that entities list and see if there's and there could be more than one thing too. You know, somebody said risen demons, you know, so maybe put that one on your chart. But is there anything else that's getting in the way? Is, you know, maybe just regular demons or whatever, evil spirits or things like that. So if you're getting a yes to any of them, put them on the chart too, and then just use the hand movement that it says to do, and then just come back later and say, you know, you may just do this while you're watching TV or whatever you're doing, and, you know, thinking about what it is you're clearing. I'm clearing that statement, that whole thing. But you can go do things, go outside, whatever, and continue on. Come back later and just, okay, so how much is this cleared now? You know, okay, I gotta do a little bit more work on this one or whatever, right? So, and then bring that as your case study, and then we'll see, is that maybe you've got a lot more than we are even considering right here, right? So there could be some other things, maybe some negative emotions from that chart. You know, I know there's 8 columns of stuff there. It's kind of hard to get, you know, so it might be a lengthy procedure, but if something kind of pops out at you, like, okay, I didn't realize that I had that going on, you know, and it could be a big stop, could be just a big stop sign, you know, like, you can't go there. Once we go there, this happens. Nope, we're not going there, right? So, and I know we identified a whole gob of them, but I don't think we cleared them all, you know, on your chart before. So I know that there's certainly a long list of those that we can still identify too. They're around.
Do you mean emotions? Is that what you're
Yeah.
referring to?
Yeah,
Okay.
that list of negative emotions that I had like 8 different columns. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have my project set out for me this evening.
Okay, anyone else? So we'll just plan to meet back here, same time tomorrow, and Carrie's going to be going over your case studies. So, you know, if you can have it on something like a document, if you have Word doc, or even if it's just a piece of paper, and you can, you know, you can just hold it up to the camera so that everyone can see. If you don't have Word doc or whatever, at least we can get your information that way. And then maybe I could just do a screenshot of it, you know, so we can copy it or something like that.
How do you, Marlene, how do you get the Word doc to show up on the Zoom presentation?
I would be able to give you permission to share screen. So right now I'm the only one that has that button that says share your screen. But if I make everybody able to share their screen, you'll have a little red button or green or whatever on your dashboard. Right now you have one that says mute, stop video or whatever. You'll also have another button that says share your screen. So then you can push that button and then it'll ask you, well, what on your screen? You know, you might have other stuff stuck on your desktop or whatever. But if you have this document pulled up, then you select that one and hit share, and then it highlights that document. So right now, this document, Taking Your Business Online, that one shows up, but nothing else on my desktop shows up because I selected that document. So yeah, it's pretty easy once you get the button. You gotta have the button. So we'll make sure that you're set up tomorrow, that everybody has got that button to be able to share. So, okay, well, I guess we are up on time, so we'll let this be for today. I can stop the recording and we'll get this